Hello guys, welcome to the fiction series. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the guardian of Moonless prison and got a harem? The movie. Huge shout out to Inferncorvid for this story. If you want more awesome fanfiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The first thing Yuki could remember was snow, red snow, and a vampire holding her down. Sto. Her voice was drowned by his laugh and readiness to bite. But the low-level vampire would never sink his fangs into the girl, or even attempt again, as fist plunged straight through his throat and out again. A handsome brunette glaring with eyes of red. You're a disgrace to all vampires. Of course, with Naruto around, that moment of awe wasn't going to last long. A blonde laughing cheerfully. Then all vampires would be a disgrace, being the scary bloodsuckers we are. A twitch of an eye. A punch of fist ahead. And the brunette gazed down at the girl. Are you okay? 10 years later. Naruto hummed as he rested his head on his arms behind it. She sure have grown, Yuki-chan that is. Zero scoffed, warily eyeing the bloodsucker beside him. Go through the gate. You're not even allowed out here yet. The blonde dodged a bullet, wrapping his arms around the other boy's neck to playfully pout. Come on, we're friends. God knows that you'll become emo if you continue to act so brutally. I'm not broody. Zero tossed his arms into the air with a yell and once again aimed his gun, bloody rose, at the damn vampire, and we're not friends. The blonde laughed before walking away. Hi. Deny it all you want, he could tell the difference. Zero scoffed as he too walked away to help the other prefect. The silver-haired boy, though, could not deny that Naruto's ability was great help to him ever since he was bitten by Shizuka, the pure blood. With his ability to manipulate blood, as loosely termed as that, when it came to describing the blonde's unique ability, Zero didn't have to take as many blood pills as he should need. Or rather, he didn't have to take blood pills at all, unlike the many human-turned vampires who chugged 5 a day. His vampiric blood being so diluted to the point where he was nearly a normal human. It was only too bad that Naruto's ability had that unfortunate limit of being unable to fully change him back to human. But still, by drinking the blonde's blood twice a year, he could stay sane and human for the rest. Though Zero was still wary about the blonde's motive to allowing him to drink his blood, which, though not pure-blooded, was purer than even Ada's and Ichiju's for years. That deal that would even be called miracle to most shouldn't be offered that freely like the blonde did that day. Where'd you go? Ichiju asked curiously. His fellow classmate always disappearing for a few minutes before the walk to school. Hi Mitsu. View you and your secrets. Shiki looked away from the stupidly cheerful blondes. And then they left, opening the gates to be greeted with the crowds once again. After a while, Naruto chuckled at the sight of Ken help his little sister up. Damn, the fangirls and fanboys were quite feisty. Are you alright, Yuki? They're always so difficult to manage. Naruto's sweat dropped as all the Quran fans seemed to ignore that line, only jealously watching the exchange. Ken? She shot up to her feet. Yes, I'm just fine. And from there, Naruto ignored the pheromone-inducing siblings for his own fangirls and guys looking from afar. He always wondered why it was the shy ones that liked him so much. Naruto blinked as he smelled blood. It was very faint and little but purely human. His blue eyes flashed red before he controlled himself. Damn. What are Yuki-chan and Zero-kun doing? But he never had such a serious reaction to blood before. Even when Yuki was bleeding, the girl's blood scent being appetizing, but just that. Curious, he followed the waft to the library, blinking once again when he saw someone reading in the dark. That's bad for your eyes, you know. Sayori jumped at the sound before blinking at the darkness. She sheepishly smiled. It's already this late? I didn't notice. Ha, really? It's a wonder how you can read at this time without the lights on. It's dangerous to be out here. I'll walk you to your dorm. And how do I know if I can trust you? Sayori teased as she marked her page and closed the book. Trust me. I don't dig schoolgirls. She giggled. You sound like an old man. All right then, I can trust old men. Naruto pouted loudly, but shrugged, bowing and taking her hand gently. Then I'll be an old gentleman just for you today, my fair lady. My name is Namikaze Naruto. A night class student? Sayori questioned before curtsying to play along with his bow. My name is Sayori Wakaba. A beautiful name for a beautiful girl. Are we not in pure darkness? How could you know if I am beautiful or not? Nevertheless, she blushed at the compliment, having not been told it before. Naruto smiled. Because I know it to be the truth. Now, let's go journey to the sun out of the unforgiving shades, and I think you have a paper cut. Sayori blinked at the randomness before widening her eyes, now feeling the blood on her finger. I do. How did you know? She asked, her hand blindly fumbling in her bag for a bandage, which she quickly placed on. How could I not know when a girl is in distress? Oh, you exaggerate. And they laughed as they continued talking dramatically like nobles from fairy tales. His head lifted up once though when he smelled Yuki-chan's blood, Ada's intent, and an angry though subtly so Kuran. Well, someone screwed up badly. Namikaze-san? Nothing, Sayori-chan. Eh? You want to drink my blood again, Zero-kun? A yawning Naruto squinted at the sight of the stoic Silverhead purposefully standing by the window filtering bright morning rays. Kyan having called him over. It hasn't even been 4 months yet? He tilted his head in confusion, Kyan playfully following. I know, right, Naruto-kun? Zero's shout at both of their annoying faces stopped that. Before frowning, and maybe its effect is wearing off. The colors in his eyes shifted quickly before he confidently smiled. That's not possible. Zero and Kyan tensed at the vampiric red as the cheerful blonde turned more serious, and like his true nature. There was a reason why Naruto had one of the highest scores in class even among the vampires older than him, even when he didn't like reading any other book besides the tale of the gutsy shinobi. Blood doesn't just wear off. Blood doesn't lie. If its effect is wearing off, then it's not because of your need but rather your want. Don't say it. Zero narrowed his eyes, heart thumping violently against his chest. The blood didn't care as he finished with annoying gaze. You gave into temptation. For simple words, and Zero grabbed the blonde's throat, the blonde not even trying to avoid or now escape the increasingly tight grip as his red eyes stared into Zero's own red ones of pure rage. Any normal person would have died. Any normal vampire would have been scared. Well, he was anything but normal. Naruto smiled, further adding to the fumes. I'm right, aren't I? Blood is very easy to read. One smell and you can taste emotions under your tongue. Emotions affect blood as well. You hate us so much. You fear us too much. You anger too easily. Zero's eyes intensified before rage took over and he suddenly wanted to kill the vampire under him. His fangs enlarged and in a quick flash, sunk into the blonde's throat. The blonde softened his eyes at the blood leaving him in thirsty gulps, his hands controlling the blood in the air so that none other than the three in the room would know that Zero lost control and ate from him. With a snap, it disappeared to now being, the scent odorless to those away. Even the vampires. Naruto wondered how long the Silverhead would suck his blood this time. Though a lot earlier, Zero had already lost all his calm. Naruto still spoke though, albeit more quietly and gently as the silver-haired boy took more and more of his life essence, draining a bit faster than he could regenerate. You like Yuki too much. You suppress your emotions too much. You hate yourself too much. Your emotions, these little things add up, riling up the more beastly side of you. And beast doesn't necessarily mean vampire. Beast is your instinct, primal self-heart. And finally, Zero closed his eyes, regaining his control and releasing his hold from the vampire. His eyes now fixated on the large bite marks on the pale neck. blood pooling out before it closed to unblemished skin. Naruto groaned. Now my shirt's ruined. What a sadist, right, Kaien-kun? Kaien nodded, changing his serious expression to something more innocent to relieve the mood. He pulled out an uniform he already tailored to the blonde's size free of charge as always as thanks for helping his son figure with his vampiric condition. Though the chairman too was wary about the entire deal if it could be called that, he was more than grateful that Naruto always helped. So. I have an extra uniform for you, Naruto-kun. Wow, really? Thank you so much. Blood stains are so hard to wash off now. Blue eyes turned to eye the distraught Zero, who kept his gaze fixated at the already gone bite mark. It's alright to take blood from me, I guess, but it won't change facts. Face reality. Embrace yourself. You mean to embrace my vampire side? No, I mean your emotions. You don't have to be angry all the time. Remember what you have while you still have it, and live out of the past. I won't. But you can. Naruto got up, fixing the collar of his new jacket and shirt. Before leaving, revenge is one spiraling cycle. It won't make you feel better, nor will it change the fact that you're still a vampire no matter how many gallons of my blood you drink, how much hate you retain, how many you kill. Zero-chan. Bam. Smoke emitted from the bullet hole near the blonde. Don't add Chan to my name. Yada, Zero-chan, don't tell me you're going to ravish me again, Aya. Naruto. The blonde danced out of the bullet's paths and out the door with a laugh. Kaien eyed the solemn boy. He's right, you know. Shut up, and with a scoff, walked towards the door. Kaien stared before something clicked and he yelled. Wait. You like my adorable, innocent daughter? Why, no way. Then when you gave to temptation, you tried biting her. Gh. Kaien fell unconscious, knocked out by a chair. Zero growled. I do not. I was not. And I'm so going to kill him next time I see him. 10 days suspension? Edu asked before shrugging it off and dazing off into bliss. It was still worth it for a taste of her blood. I don't think I'll be able to endure living off tablets for much longer. Her blood was so delicious. Kanem slaps him, surprising the others all except Naruto, whose own eyes flashed red with anger. Pardon? He unconsciously growls. Ada pouted solemnly. Sorry. With that, Kanem walked out of the room, licking the hand that now had Ada's blood. Naruto followed him, a bit sluggishly now at home. Licking blood that merged with Yuki-chan's? Kanem glared before observing with a blink. Good work. His level? Naruto sighed, rubbing his sore neck. Level B without my blood. He's growing stronger, strong enough to be what you hope, a pure blood killer. The pure blood smirked. Good. That'll take care of that problem. And creates one for me. What happens if they find out about what I'm doing? I still don't get how Kaien hasn't even figured it out with how often they question my motives. Especially since if I can humanize vampires, then the opposite is obviously true as well. It's so obvious that it's bound to be found out. Plus, Naruto sighed before staring into Kanemi's eyes. Zero-kun likes Yuki-chan. Wouldn't it be possible that he kills you and takes her? Sure enough, Naruto felt himself smashed through the wall. Yet another person crushing his neck, except this time the grip stronger and angrier. Despite being inferior, no matter how pure he could make his own blood, Naruto stared back against the furious Kuran ancestor. He had promised that he would never avert his eyes, especially with how many around him do. Do not. It's the truth. I never lie. I do not go back on my own words. You know that. And it's fucking obvious that they both feel for each other more than just siblings. Naruto. You lose an enemy. You get another one. How fitting, except you know how I'm more entitled to you. Say the word and I'll kill him right now. Even Kanem couldn't ignore the gentle compassion within his greatest pawn's eyes. His anger mollified for the while, hand loosening its grip and then rising to run his fingers in his hair. Nothing is ever simple, huh? No matter. We need Zero. Make him stronger and more of what he hates. Naruto could easily see the vindictive glint in the elder's eyes. And Yuki will love me. There was no doubt in that statement, making Naruto mentally sigh again. It wasn't just Zero in denial. Naruto rubbed his sore neck, getting off of the rubble of broken wall. Humans are fickle, can't say vampires aren't the same. Do what you want. I'm just another pawn of yours in your game. And there's no need to apologize. Naruto cut him off. I really don't care. And I never go back on my words. I never lie. Kaname nodded and left to go back to his room. Is it possible to change his composition enough to not crave after her blood? Love isn't physical, Kaname. Nor isn't it DNA for me to manipulate. I can make him less hungry by giving him more blood, but hunger and lust are sometimes two different things, you know. Be careful then. You'll be drained more often than not. And the door to Kaname's room closed, Naruto shaking his head, sadists. What the hell did you guys do to my room? Ichiju mourned for the wall near his door. Naruto sweat dropping. Sorry, pal? Why does my day start out in the sun? Zero sighed as he bit the vampire's neck. The vampire yawning and not even trying to open his eyes. You just drank my blood yesterday, even the other level E's become full with how much you drank. Kaien watched the blood splatter, reminding Naruto-kun, the blood. Naruto sighed as he once again rid the blood scent and stains, lazily twirling his fingers to conduct it. Kaien's sweat dropped for his poor night class student. Any lovers for Valentine's Day? Blue Eyes watched the bleary world for a while before shutting again, Naruto shaking his head. Nah. Those annoying shrieks though, I should kill whoever invented such a day. Zero didn't like agreeing with bloodsuckers, but this he had to nod to. I'll join in. Kia 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 always. Just this morning, the idiots were screaming again and Yuki. Nanja. You do like her. Both of the other two in the room replied. I do. Not. Bam. Naruto coughed blood, groaning as he was now fully awake. His left arm filled with a bloody rose bullet, blood leaking out without end. Damn it, Zero. Take a joke for once. I thought you were going to dodge it. What kind of vampire doesn't want to sleep at friggin' 8 o'clock a.m.? Blue Eyes flashed red as he snarled, Get off me. Now. Zero did unconsciously at the sight of rage-filled red, a very unusual sight for the blonde who always smiled. Survive on blood pills, I funking chew. Now, Naruto-kun, he didn't mean it. Kaien hurriedly interrupted, oddly reminded of how the blonde always said that he never took back his words. The chairman quickly bringing over first aid and extracting the bullet. The blonde winced at the loss of more blood, it happening more often recently. He hated wasted blood. Sorry, Naruto-kun. You'll still be coming, right? Or poor Yuki-chan might be bitten. I won't. Zero glared. You will. Naruto firmly replied with a dark glare of his own before ripping the bandages out of Kaien's hand and doing it himself. He hated anti-vampire weapons. They took forever to heal and they were what killed his own parents. Damn things, you're too easily angered. You're too easily influenced. Now, have you finished your damn meal or not? I want to sleep. Zero glared at the words before nodding curtly. He hesitated at the sight of red flowing from both the blonde's neck and arm, but knew when he had to say his. Sorry. The vampire eyed him weirdly before nodding, his happy-go-lucky mood fouled up, but he knew when the silverhead was sincere enough to not mock him for it. And then the blonde left, his left arm limply hanging dead for the moment. Zero muttered, wondering why he felt so bad for a bloodsucker. Are you all right? Naruto turned to see the brunette from the other day, her short chestnut hair framing her face as the rest splayed out as she ran towards him. The blonde sighed, his rage fading for the ignorantly innocent girl. I guess. Sayori stared at the bandages that covered the arm below his rolled-up sleeve. Guess? You can't just guess about this. Come with me to the infirmary. I just left. Naruto arched a brow. Sayori blushing faintly as she remembered. Oh right. It's bandaged and everything. You sure you're alright? Just a bit sleep-deprived, Naruto yawned loudly. Then she bowed. My apologies for holding you back from returning to the dorms. It's fine, it's fine. Naruto waved her apologies away, breathing in to smile a bit. Thanks though. Is there anything you need? Not really. Sayori scratched her cheek, oddly embarrassed somehow. Just saw you walking and the bandages. I'm heading over to my next class. Jaya. It was nice seeing you again, dear princess. Sayori's eyes flashed with amusement as she remembered the other day they were together. You as well, my fair prince. And they separated to their different paths, both blinking as they realized they were smiling. Valentine's Day, huh? Whoa! What the hell happened to you? Edo and Ichiju shouted at the sight of Naruto's dead arm. The blonde not even bothering to try hiding it. He couldn't even move it for the time being anyways. He really did hate anti-vampire weapons. Nothing much, he replied, beginning to read his book all over again. It's not nothing, Ichiju shouted, staring at his friend's limp. That's why I said nothing much. The other blonde nonchalantly replied, flipping the page. Doesn't even matter anymore. Still. Who did it? Shiki asked just as casually. The blonde eyed him for a while, not one to be tricked by subtle interrogation, before shrugging. Like I said, it doesn't matter. I was kinda asking for it. So I heard that Zero got a suspension from prefect duties from the chairman. He did, Kaname? Lucky him. He really needed the break. Ga. My book. Kaname stared into the blue eyes of his subordinate, his hand lifting the book away from the blonde's reach, though everyone knew that if Naruto was really trying, then he could have got it back in a flash. What Kaname wants, Kaname gets, though, and such was true in this case. If you were going to provoke him, then at least attempt to dodge. Those weapons are meant to kill vampires. Naruto pouted in a manner like Ada's just the other night. Fine. As punishment, I will be banning you from reading all your grandfather's books until the end of this month. Why? No! You can't do this. Kaname leaned down to whisper softly so that only the two could hear, even in a room full of vampires. And I told the chairman to never call you up for the morning again. God knows how grumpy you are without sleep. Thanks. I'd really like that. Flashback. The first time they met, they disliked each other. It continued for days and even years. Later, they figured out that it was no wonder why they did, seeing how different they were and how the blonde's entire existence contradicted Kaname's goal. Ah, Big Brother is back. Welcome home, Kaname. Yuki glomps her older brother, Kaname smiling. I'm home. You feel warm, Yuki? You feel cold. Yes, because it was snowing outside. Snow? Snow is white, beautiful, and cold. But Yuki warms me up like the sun, so I'm not cold anymore. Wow, that was cheesy. Kaname glared at the commenter, a blonde sitting on the stairs with a bored expression. And who are you? Yuri and Haruka immediately waving their hands and calming the boy. Yuri smiling, this little one's Naruto. He's from the Namikaze family. Namikaze? The family of guardians? His parents' faces fell at the reminder, and Kaname knew immediately that something was wrong. Naruto resting his head on his palm as he nonchalantly explained with cold, but dead blue eyes. Not anymore. Rito killed my parents when he escaped. I'm the last of my family. Then again, of course, my family's fate doesn't matter to any of you purebloods. And they never did get along very well for a long time after that. Flashback end. There you two go again, whispering things. Ichijo pouted before grinning. Well, let's all cheer up then, today is Valentine's Day. If Naruto says he's alright, then he's alright. Ada grumbled, though I don't understand why you'd let yourself get injured, idiot. Naruto sighed, don't want to hear that from you. Ruka smirked as she patted the bandages. He's got a point, Adu. The beautiful vampiric woman then gazed down at the injured blonde. Will you be alright for St. Valentine's Day, Naruto-kun? Gay. Shiki agreed with his expression. There was no other way to describe Valentine's Day at Cross Academy than hell. Adu, however, thought otherwise, his eyes sparkling as the gates opened. Whoa! This year all the girls are going into hysterics. It's awesome! This is so cool! Naruto and Shiki sighed together at the sight of their own fan group squealing. Ruka giggling at their cute actions before taking the pose of maturity. Ichijo smiled politely while Kane yawned. Yuki explained, the absence of the male prefect more than obvious. Naruto. Right. He had no time to think about Zero. He sighed as he once again moved to the troublesome stuff, holding as much as he could with his free hand and vaguely answering the questions regarding his bandaged arm. His blue eyes did catch Zero arriving to throw Yuki's dropped present to Kiname though, the prefect armband nowhere to be seen. They stared before continuing on each other's way, Yuki punching the silver-haired for the throw. Sayori-chan? You're in the library again? Sayori smiled as she looked up from her book to see the blonde once again. Naruto. I thought that you might come visit again. You wanted to see me? For what? The blonde blinked as he sat down, his eyes seeing in the darkness of night. He had smelled blood again and arrived. It's really dangerous to read in the dark, you know. You have a paper cut again. Oh. I didn't notice. She fumbled around a bit again, blushing at such a mistake happening again. Before taking out, Valentine's Day is a day to give chocolate as thanks. Blue eyes flashed with amusement. What are you thanking me for then? Walking me to the dorms and not telling anyone that I stayed past curfew on accident. She paused before smiling, and now not telling anyone that I stayed past curfew on purpose. He chuckled. I guess I can do that. I accept your gift with gratitude, Sayori-san. She swatted his arm. Oh, you. Sayori is just fine. And they both laughed before chatting once more under the night. Well then, Zero? Kyan solemnly eyed his son figure, who collapsed despite trying everything from blood pills to sucking the blonde's blood. Naruto-kun's right. You can fight it or try to ignore it, but it won't change anything. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Shut up. The next day, Naruto watched from the shadows as Ruka glared at Zero, the boy pointing his gun at her throat. She didn't mind as she glared. Why is Kiname so interested in this human? I can't stand it. Naruto sighing from his perch. He couldn't stand it as well, but that didn't mean he did anything about it. Kane tried appeasing the situation. There's no point in getting jealous, Ruka. The same goes for the rest of you. If Kiname finds out about this, he'll be furious. He turned to Zero. Kiryu, you should put that away too. Okay? Naruto's sweat dropped as Kane experienced the same thing as him, doing nothing while being attacked. The mellow idiot being slammed to the ground by Kiryu's arm. Reima and Shiki both stared down at the idiot, commenting, that was so uncool. Kane's sweat dropping, unable to retort anything but shut up. The vampire suddenly able to sympathize with Naruto. Zero's bangs shadowed his eyes as he spoke slowly. So Kiname-kuran is the reason why you've all suddenly decided to gang up and take me down. I'd like to see you try vampires. I've been waiting for a chance like this. Of course, his moment had to be interrupted by Yuki, who cited the rules of the handbook no one reads. Kane sighed and finally convinced the somewhat pouting Ruka and others to leave. Naruto observed before jumping off the tree branch to Zero's side once Yuki was gone. You're falling again. Shut up. It's not my blood that you want. Shut up. He'll hate me for this, but Naruto took a deep breath before determinedly deciding, I won't help you this time. Experience it yourself. The blood of one you lust for. Zero's now red eyes widened and he tried reaching out for the one that helped him for 4 long years, kept him sane for 4 long years, talked to him normally for 4 long years, that very person leaving with a yellow flash. Naruto ignored the scent of delicious blood later. Ignored the hunger that emerged and pulsed that night. Rukas for Kanamis. Kanes for Rukas. Zeros for Yukis. Kanamis for Yukis. Shiki and Rima for each other, the many impulses of the beastly side of man. The bloodlust wasn't for everyone, but a more intimate thing that couldn't be fulfilled by another, much like a lover's bite. Kaname must have forgot about that. People can't be satisfied for anything less. Love cannot be replaced. Blood could not lie. That is the bloodlust. Don't let anything that happens in this room out. One warning before Naruto gurgled blood as Kaname stabbed a letter opener in his throat. Why'd you let that happen to Yuki? Why'd you let Zero bite her? Why'd you? Naruto laid back on his bed, letting the pure blood do what he wanted. Gashes carved into his skin as the brunette took out his inexplicable rage and jealousy that another tasted his little sister's blood. Years of being unable to touch it, years of control slowly unfolded as Kaname had a person to blame. A person who knew the entire situation, and a person who he could take out all his rage upon all at once. Naruto, the perfect person to hurt. So the blonde thought that the whole world thought about him. He waited and waited and waited. Groaned, whimpered, and even screamed. Aloud, watching the beautifully wild beast above him. None of his blood scent or presence leaving the barriers of his lone room, tailored to his preferences, soundproof for nightmares, and now soundproof for homicidal friends. And finally it all stopped. Naruto panting as he laid gored, skinned, and maimed upon the mattress. Kaname panting as well now that he finally let loose, releasing all the stress of 10 years of being unable to love his own little sister, and crush 10 years without the blood that his own screamed for. It took forever. Minutes and maybe even hours until Naruto felt himself together again, all except his left arm, still unhealed from bloody rose. Long minutes until their pants stopped and Kaname fell back, lying on the other side of the large king-sized bed. The brunette refusing to look at him. But Naruto could tell that it wasn't because the brunette was going to snap again at the sight of his face. The letter opener, though faint, Naruto could scent Kaname's blood on it. He must have sliced a picture first before heading towards him. Possibly Zero's picture. They stayed in silence, once again together like that one time Yuri forced them 2 haters into the same room. An awkward yet not awkward silence. After some rest, Kaname left without turning to look back. No hesitation within his steps as he walked out as normally as he walked to class from the moon dorm. Naruto, too, had no words to say as he let the idiot go, his body turning to its side to fall asleep for the remaining time till dusk. Don't let anything that happens in this room out. You called me again? Naruto yawned as he was called this time, a few hours after morning. The blonde wondered if he should get angry again, but his compassion meter was already spiking at an all-high after that night. He blinked at the night class uniform. You should be getting over your daydreams, Kaian-kun. What? You too? I thought it was a great idea. To your moronic head. Zero growled before turning to snarl at the one who caused this whole mess. You. Naruto was not one to play the blame game during the day. The blonde merely yawning again to state, so? How was Yuki-chan's blood? Zero's snarl grew louder. Naruto's sighing. This busy week made him question himself if he had a death wish. Why was he surrounded by denial? Kaian frowned, quickly explaining to appease the atmosphere a bit. Yuki was drained to the point where she couldn't stand for a while. Zero will stay as a day class member on the condition of his true self being a secret. Yuki has the bracelet complement to his tattoo. Naruto leaned against the wall, taking the information with contemplation, while Zero scowled. Why are you telling a rotten vampire all that? I do not want my cute daughter to be drained more times than she has to by the big bad wolf. If you won't drink my blood, then his is the next best offer. Zero widened his eyes, guiltily remembering how weak and pale Yuki looked after he bit her. Naruto snorted, you're not very different from other vampires. Thinking of me as a blood bag. Zero growled, I'm not like. Then again, vampires have more pride than that. You experienced it, right? Bloodlust at its finest. Zero hesitated before reluctantly nodding, admitting it was different. Yuki once said her blood was considered delicious by others. Kaien and Naruto both knew why, but made no comment. The blonde continued, we drink blood for more reasons than need. You should learn that well. For now, I guess I'll just change my blood composition to make it a bit more to your tastes. Zero furrowed his brows, you can do that? Naruto rolled his eyes. Did they not use their brains to think further on what his ability entailed? Kanami's plan should have been found out years ago. Wouldn't be offering to if I couldn't. Though I will only be like a side dish of sorts since you obviously like. This time, the blonde avoided the bullet aimed at his head. Kaien's as well. The chairman complaining. Why me too? You were thinking it. Zero replied, a vein popping out. Why the hell would he like that idiotic girl? Why didn't you do that earlier? I would have not. You would have. There's a difference between a delicious meal and a favorite meal, idiot. And I need a bite to understand. Zero cringed, easily understanding. He didn't want a vampire to bite him, but he undid his collar, remembering how he plunged his fangs into Yuki. Fine. At the permission, Naruto's eyes flashed red and he sank his teeth into the pale throat, relishing in real blood, something he never drank for years under Kaname. With his ability, he easily read all the information stored within those delicious cells, and with it, even Yuki's individual blood, as he separated the two for a curious nibble. Once finished with his meal, he grinned, blue eyes brightening like a puppy. Yeah, I don't think I could stand those blood pills anymore. He pouted when he had to dodge another bullet from the irate Zero. The chairman's eyes scolding him as well. Naruto drooped. Party poopers. Kaien observed the bite mark before it healed. You eat cleaner than I expected. Yuki's bite was a lot. The killing gaze of Zero stopped him, and the chairman wisely spoke no more. Zero observed his own bite mark, barely any blood spilled or even within the surrounding area, compared to how he had Yuki's blood splattered around his mouth and her neck. So? Naruto nodded, got it and ready. And the blonde yawned again, Jaya, I'll be heading back to sleep. Kaien nodded, allowing the boy to leave, calling, please keep this a secret. Naruto having left before he even started asking. Wow. That was like he didn't want Yuki-chan to dirty her hands on you and did it himself. Naruto commented when Ada walked past him. The blonde having just come home to see more action. Ada's eyes flashed with anger. Shut up before the genius remembered just who Kaname seemed to share the most with out of all of them. They weren't particularly close, the two being opposites most of the time. Ada doesn't even know who the Namikaze family is, compared with Kaname's much fame and prestige, even though the blonde was clearly at any noble vampire's level. Yet the two always seemed to talk in the shadows much and held a presence together that felt like long-since friends. Which was a lot more than just a follower relationship that most of them had with Kaname. Ada asked curiously but seriously. Do you know why Kaname-sama is so interested in her? The blonde's softened blue eyes were more than enough of an answer to him. Because it was obvious that he was familiar with her as well. Ada practically demanded. What is it then? Naruto shook his head, Kanin will get angry at me if I say it. But know this. Stop being an idiot around her. To him, Yuki's the only girl in this world who is important. Wah! The blonde kicked off the wall he was leaning against to head towards his room, his ears ignoring Ada behind him, but then again, the ice noble was probably shocked with having it told in front of him. Unknown to the blonde, the dorm leader had said the same exact thing as him to Kane at the same time. Then again, such things should be obvious already with their everyday interaction. Naruto yawned. He really needed sleep. Naruto placed down his glass of wine to stare at the scene before him. Yuki sitting with Kaname. Though Yuki wasn't the same as before, he couldn't help but feel nostalgic by the sight that used to always be. Naruto? Uchiha asked as he watched the blonde's hair bristle until almost instantly, the blonde turned to a small fox and dashed towards Yuki's side, yipping. Kaname chuckled as he easily scooped the blonde up to deposit at the prefect's lap. Feeling nostalgic, aren't you? Naruto merely closed his eyes, feeling the warmth of those days come back. Yuki, having not saw the transformation, cooed at the adorable little fox, petting it with amazement. I never saw a fox before. Are they all this adorable, Kaname-senpai? Zero, who had saw it, wondered what he should be thinking. On one hand, he never knew the vampire could turn into foxes or maybe animals in general. Then again, it seemed that the others didn't know either. Ruka's expression torn between jealousy that Naruto could be by Kaname's side and jealousy that Yuki could touch the adorable little thing. On the other hand, he wondered if Naruto felt no challenge to his pride by turning into a little animal and being petted. Said fox ignored all as he could almost fall asleep among the warm touches and presences. Kaname's own eyes softened, feeling at home himself, the three together before Rito's attack. Naruto used to entertain them, or really, just Yuri and Yuki, with all sorts of transformations of animals and even mixes. In a way, Kaname replied with a smirk, flicking the little black nose out of a childish whim. This one's more mischievous than anything, though. You know him, Kaname-senpai? Is he your pet? Just the thought of Naruto being a pet made Kaname blink before erupting into chuckles, despite himself many others, who knew the blonde well and saw his transformation to know who the pet really was, doing the same, snickering, while the fox gave her a miffed look. Kaname-senpai? Did I say something wrong? The brunette shook his head before regaining his composure. No. He is of sorts adopted into the family. Adu and Ruka, as well as many others, narrowing their eyes, knowing very well of the Kuran family and fate of it. Even Zero knew and wondered if the blonde knew the real cause of the dorm leader's parents' demise. Adu, for one, finally understood why the two were so close together. If Naruto was adopted into the Kuran family, then they would have been brothers for a long time. And if they were together for a long time, then Naruto should know many of things that Ada was dying to know, as so many things didn't add up in the mysteries surrounding Kaname-sama. Yuki smiled as she glomped the little orange fox. That's nice. You have a kind brother then, little one. The fox gave a fox's equivalent of a snort before cutely struggling out of her grip to walk away from her. Yuki pouting. Wait, why are you leaving? Kaname almost snorted himself at the proud little Vulp. Don't mind him. He has a lot of pride. Now, we were talking about level E vampires, right? Yuki blinked before nodding, Naruto listening boredly at the old information. His body unconsciously curling up to sleep. His now red eyes blinked at the new hand that touched him, his muzzle smirking a bit at the sight of Siren losing her composure and touching his more than soft fur. Even she being unable to resist temptation. Forgive him for sounding arrogant. Much practice along with Yuri's constant criticism has allowed him to draw out even the most obscure of animal lovers in everyone. Moments later, he blinked when Yuki left, dashing after Zero, who left to avoid the smell of blood. Naruto shifted back to his true form, sweat dropping at the sight of Shiki licking Ichiju's blood. Well, I was wondering when they would leave. If you were, then you should have transformed into an earthworm. Much more effective. Naruto sniffed. Oh, what a kind older brother figure I have. You know it to be true. Kaname grinned, allowing a canine to show. Both stared at each other before looking away with a smile, unconsciously happy from being caught in memories of the past. Oddly enough, it was Siren that broke the companionable silence between them two. Siren slightly pouting. Turned back to a fox. Naruto blankly stared at the supposedly emotionless loner that guarded the brunette before saluting cheerfully. Aye, Captain. His form shifting to a puffy Arctic fox, making Siren wonder as she marveled at the soft pure white. If I skin you in this form, then what will happen? Naruto stiffened, sitting stiller than before at the thought. Kaname's eyes held a rare mischievous glint. His transformations are real. As long as you let him regenerate, it should be alright. Naruto sweated under the intense opportunistic stares of all the girls within hearing vicinity before yipping and fleeing the insane women. It appears that vampire or not, women were women. His nose caught quite a troubling scent though, Naruto frowning as he was unable to joke around anymore. He found Zero at the poolside, dropping his blood tablets. The blonde shaking his head as he changed back and even changed his blood composition to something more appetizing for Zero. Hungry red eyes staring at him. Idiot. Ex-human vampires reject blood tablets. No matter how pure their blood was. They weren't like vampires that followed others the entire night class taking the blood pills for Kaname. Nor were the human side of them going to like the taste of faux blood. Naruto. Yuki's running here, but this time, I'll let you choose. Zero closed his eyes, knowing all too well that Yuki was afraid of vampires, she liked the damn pure blood, and that he didn't want to hurt her again. Canines flashing and he sunk into flesh he knew all too well. His eyes blinking as the blood tasted more delicious than ever before than anything he ever ate. So the blonde did somehow figure out his tastes. While Zero was feeding with his eyes closed, Naruto blinked at the sight of little Yuki catching them in the act. His right arm slowly lifting to make a quiet hush gesture without disturbing the eating ex-human vampire. Then again, she seemed too shocked to be able to even do anything. And finally, after a few minutes, Zero unlatched himself from the vampire, having drunk his fill. Yuki finally able to speak. Zero, Naruto. Ah, you found out, Yuki-chan? Of course, before any of them could speak further, the great Toga Yagiri had to shoot Zero in the shoulder. Naruto sighed as he heard Zero yell in pain. At least the blonde had morning sleepiness when his left arm was shot, the thing still healing slowly like a normal human wound. So annoying, those anti-vampire weapons, that is. So Toga-kun, why'd you shoot him? The man scoffed at the somewhat derogatory suffix, noticing that the victim really wasn't a victim at all, but a voluntary bloodsucker. He warily eyed the blonde before scoffing again and deciding to answer more for his idiot disciple's sake. Zero. Even with your craving for blood, you should still retain your awareness, am I not right? His gun shifted towards the silver-haired head only for Yuki to run up and block the path. You're that dull-wit hermit's daughter? She glared. I'm not clear about what's going on right now or about the relationship between you and Zero, but who are you to determine his life or death? I won't let Zero die. Toga furrowed his eye. Even if he degenerates into any class? Naruto beamed, already hating the vampire hunter he knew from rumors. That's why I'm here, Toga-kun. I should shoot you too. The gun barrel shifting to the casual vampire who merely stared back. Why is a B-class vampire letting an E-class drink his blood? What's your motive, vampire? Yuki shifted her gaze to the vampire she almost always saw within the vicinity of her Kaname-senpai even that day 10 years ago. Even with a gun that caused Zero so much pain, he didn't flinch or stop smiling at all. Me? I have no motive. It was Kaname that had one. Why? Well, why not? Answered the question, bloodsucker. That's not much of an insult. To the kun, I'm a bloodsucker by nature and proud of it. His eyes glinted. You could say that we're enemies by nature. Well, you're my stupid enemy, it seems. I even organized my answers so that you could see that I answered your questions, Bu. Naruto dodged the bullet with a mere shift of his head, both of them knowing that the other wasn't trying. Tuga scoffed, "You don't answer questions with questions. Try again." Stingy. Naruto teased before smiling, "Then what about I'm doing this for Yuki-chan? If Zero-kun becomes a level E, then Yuki-chan will become sad. I don't want that." Yuki blushed faintly at being included. Tuga noticing and concluding that the girl's name was Yuki. "Then what is she to you?" "A shield against fangirls." The vampire said so seriously, and Tuga relented with the answer, having to agree. Even Zero had to with how crazy fangirls acted every day. Fair enough. Yuki pouted at being considered just a shield against fangirls. Though Tuga still pointed his gun back to Zero, however, no matter what you do, vampire, this little child will always be an E-class vampire in the end. Naruto almost denied to say how without the shackles he placed on his years of discreet work, Zero would be B-class, but knew he couldn't mention that right now. Instead, he shrugged. Maybe one day things will change. But the suspicious second hesitation already caught the attention of three, one of them being the fatherly chairman that ran over, comically yelling at the vampire hunter to put away his gun. Yuki eyed the man, who everyone but her seemed to know. "Who are you?" "Yagiri Tuga. Vampire hunter. I was Zero's sensei. Isn't that right, Zero?" "Yes." "You really act like a daughter of that dull-wit chairman. You could be bitten by Zero any day. I'm doing this for your own good, so stop blaming me." Naruto pumped his fist up, his bite wound already healed, as he dully agreed, Here. Stop suspecting me." "You shut up," replied teacher and student. Tuga frowning, "Wait, you seem to find it normal to be bitten by Zero. How long?" "What? You didn't think that kids could resist temptation, did you?" "Zero was bitten 4 years ago." The chairman finished, eyeing Yuki for her reaction. All of them were, as he replied, "Twice a year. 4 years. Though recently, Zero has been hungrier." Yuki's eyes widened. She felt faint. She had assumed that Zero was alone, suffering by himself. She must be a horrible person, automatically thinking that Zero had no one to help him. She must have been ignorant. While so many knew and helped, she stayed naive and out of the loop, living life happily without a thought. Tuga eyed the vampire with renewed interest. 4 years, huh? Normally, ex-human vampires unable to drink their creator's blood would turn insane within a month at most and become E-class. Even if they had another's blood. "Who are you, brat?" "You know your bit about vampires." Naruto nodded, impressed, before he stood up to bow like a noble. "My name is Namikaze Naruto, sir." My ability is— his eyes flashed to Zero, who already saw his animal transformation, blood manipulation. Zero's eyes narrowed. "What does blood have to do with animals?" "That's for me as the master to know, and you to find out." Tuga snorted, amused. "Animals? Where did that random idea pop out from, Zero?" The silver-haired teen opened his mouth to accuse the blonde of turning into a fox to run to be with Yuki, and Ken aimed before realizing how stupid that would sound and closing his mouth. Naruto smiled, knowing that Ken would make sure that no one would speak of it again later as well. Broadening the human's horizon of knowledge on his abilities would only cause problems for them all, honestly. Better underestimate than over. Nothing. Tuga eyed his student for a while before nodding. "Jaya. Then will the little lady go away now?" "You can stay, vampire. It seems that you and I will have a lot to talk about." However, his eyes turned to Yuki. She wanted to complain, but Zero glared. "Enough. Just leave." And the four left to talk elsewhere. Kaien and Naruto easily chatting as cheerful buds despite the more than serious other two. When Tuga was leaving the academy, he furrowed his brows in distaste. "It's so complicated. Just being here, that is. Blood-soaked, relationships challenged, conflicts everywhere, right, Tugakun? You, the vampire hunter, stared at the vampire who voluntarily replaced the Dulwit's daughter as blood bag for Zero. The teen now lazily lying on a sturdy branch of a nearby tree. What do you want? Nothing. Just asking your opinion of the place. Everyone's in denial. It makes even me cringe. Tuga thought about all the tensions and secrets mingling around before grinning. You're not that bad, vampire. As much as I hate to say it, I agree. This place really is disgustingly complicated. Tell me about it. It was amusing to see some faces think that the gunshot last night was for you. Just because I was absent? Please. They're just being melodramatic. It's a supposed talent of ours to sparkle. Bah! Tuga roared with chuckles before nodding, feeling just a tad bit better as he left the gates this time. So the guy wasn't that bad. Not to mention that useful ability. Hey, do you have time? The blonde blinked from his perch on the tree. I wonder, should I still follow you? Questions, Naruto hummed as he stared at the multiple vampire hunters around. Tuga wondered if the vampire was mentally retarded. Any normal vampire would have long fled or at least readied their weapons out of tension. They were at the association, for heaven's sake. But still, he said, that's up to you. Flashback. Yuki could remember what vampires meant to her ever since back then. What exactly Kaname-senpai to her? The three males in the room watched as she poked and sniffed the pudding. Naruto watching as Kaname tried feeding her, but instead was shied away from with a loud scream. His eyes softened for the other boy, knowing just how much she meant to him. To see little Yuki-chan so afraid of Kaname was heartbreaking in its own way. They left, or rather Kaname did, after gripping his shoulder. Stay. Please watch them, Naruto. Rido might. He could only nod before shifting to the form of a snow owl. Who? Yuki's eyes widened at the beautiful feathery being before her. The owl's eyes gently closing at the childishly curious touch. Together. For now. Yuki wondered at what time the snowy owl left. As it watched them frolic among the snow, lived with them as family, let vampires and those who hated vampires touch it. Always watching until the vampires came to school. Naruto looked up from his new bed at the knock. A person coming in regardless of his answer. Even before he gave permission. The blonde, however, was not deterred when he saw him, though. Ah! Kaname! Look, we all have king-sized beds. A loud slap echoed in the silent room. Kaname narrowing his eyes. Why aren't you watching her? Naruto stared up, more solemn as he now noticed blood on his brother figure's lips. I'm a student now, Kaname. And it's safe. You're the queen bee, right? You're here, right? Brown eyes flared with anger before calming down. Kaname pulling down his collar. Bite me. What? Naruto blinked, surprised. Kaname repeated, bite me. You're serious, right? It's a taboo to bite. A red glare shut his mouth and sent him scurrying on his way. The blonde anxiously licked before gently biting into the perfect skin. He only took a little bit of blood before Kaname pushed him away and down onto the bed in one swift move, biting his own neck. Naruto groaned at the rough move before understanding what the idiotic guy wanted. Quickly, he processed the information before changing his blood's taste. The red liquid leaving him faster than ever. Once finished eating, Kaname sighed and rolled off of his body to lay on the bed next to him. Naruto swayed a bit, all the while sweat dropping. You could have told me what you wanted beforehand, you know. And kinda mean of you to drink it after tasting Ruka-chan's. The now appeased pureblood murmured, I wanted to taste your real blood first. It's not bad. And Ruka won't mind. Zero's lucky to have your blood twice every year. Naruto wondered if he should hate his brother figure's schemes and lack of thought for others besides Yuki. Really, they were all chess pieces on the board for him. Even him, who lived with the Kurans for a while before the incident. The kid's not lucky, considering what you're planning with him. Why did you drink Ruka's blood anyways? Yuki makes me cruel. Flashback end. Shizuka High, right? The two's eyes widened and they whipped their heads to the front to see Naruto. The blonde laughed. What's with that voice? I just leave for a while and you both think I died. How mean. BBBBB. While Ada was stumbling in embarrassment, shock, and amazement all at once, Kane rubbed his neck sheepishly. There was a gunshot that night as well as a vampire hunter at the next, and you never did come back. Gang leader said that he didn't know where you went either. Well, I just decided to ditch for a while, Naruto said over Ada's protest against the referral of gang leader to Kanami-sama. He hummed, so? Why are you talking about Shizuka-chan? I did guess right? The pure blood being on an equal footing with Kuran, who disappeared after becoming insane Shizuka-chan, right? Yeah, Ada remembered and gazed up at him curiously. Have you ever met her, Naruto? I have. She was a very beautiful woman, Naruto grinned, waving his index finger as he passed them with a silly twirl worthy of Ichijo-kun, and there's one thing wrong with that description. She never did go insane even after he let her out of her cage, free to those who wronged her. What do you I wonder if the others think that I'm dead too. Gotta go, Ada-kun, Kane-kun. Naruto disappeared in a flash, quicker than even vampiric eyes could see. Kane and Ada frowned, their hands holding information about the new student. I need to do some research, Ada decided. You're back. Of course. Your blood smells mixed. Naruto's eyes flashed. Is that so? His tongue brushed over his canines before in a flash, changed everything about him that changed. I forgot about that. Kanem stared at the boy who could be his little brother. Only the proud one didn't accept his mother's many invitations. The blonde's blue eyes stared back. The brunette wondered why he felt so angry. You let them taste your blood, didn't you? All those dirty level, yes. Now you're being racist. Is it classist? I thought it would be amusing to entertain those hunters. You like making me mad, don't you? Kanem growled at his idiotic little brother. They could have killed you and no one would have known. Or rather, they already thought you dead. You know that those hunters are. Think better of them. Kanem of me as well. They could never take me out. Naruto contemplated, tapping a finger on his chin. Only pure bloods and Zero-kun can. Still. Be careful. I would never forgive you if you die before I allow you to. Yeah? I need permission to die? Naruto blinked. Speaking of death, Ada-kun and Kane-kun were talking about Shizuka-chan. Is something wrong? Kanem smiled. They were? It is of no matter though. Plan has just commenced with a new student. Plan? He tilted his head before understanding. Oh, all right. Seems like things have just become interesting and... I know. Kanem hated the words, but knew they were necessary. She's mine, but I'll let her do as she wants. Then don't come into my room like that this time. Your game, your price. Sayori-chan, it really is dangerous to be here after school, you know. Sayori scratched her cheek, loving the darkness now. Though Naruto could see through the darkness unknown to her. I wanted to meet you, HM? Can I dance with you? Sayori blurted out, not knowing another way to tell the guy. Perhaps it was only her feeling so happy in the many conversations they had in the dark library. She had wondered why the day class were always so weird, always so over the night class, but now she really couldn't talk. She loved him. His funny jokes. His bright cheerfulness. His strong, cool looks, his cute sides, his calm sides. It was the first time she met anyone that would still want to talk to her with all her attention focused on books. Even Yuki left after a while, though for prefect duties. And she could always trust on him to discuss the latest books she'd read, something she really wanted to do for a long time. It felt so amazing to connect and discuss of the many worlds they read together, the blonde being a lot smarter than he appeared. She now waited anxiously, her heart thumping quickly with each second feeling like hours. Until finally, he placed a warm hand on her head. "All right, princess. If you would have me as your prince." "Of course!" she shouted, blushing as the words reminded her of their first meetings and impressions of nobility. All the compliments swirling in her head, reminding her of everything that made her love him. She took a long draught of breath before looking up at him more like herself, except with a big smile on her face. "It's a deal then." Naruto sighed as he waited against the pillar with Kane. Yuki coming over to ask for Kane. Kane should be by the terrace. Naruto cut in for Kane, knowing the other's feelings for Ruka. Though he never said it like the many others in the academy, Naruto really wondered why everyone was so blind to each other. He sighed before fitting a rose back onto the dress and fixing her hair a bit before she left, whispering so that the listening glaring girl couldn't listen. "Kane bought that dress for you, right? You look pretty. Go ahead and ask him out." She blushed a very passionate red, swatting his arm. "Naruto-senpai." He laughed it off while she ran. Soon, a guy came to ask Ruka for a dance. Kane felt no competition as he encouraged her. "Go do your best, it's to enhance friendship. We're always told so by the chairman, remember?" Ruka, however, was annoyed as she retorted, No way. Why would I dance with a guy I don't know?" Though Naruto felt bad for the nerdy guy, he pushed Kane off balance so that he held Ruka's waist. "Then, why don't you dance with a guy you do know, Ruka-chan?" "Naruto." She blushed violently before staring up at her childhood friend's eyes and regaining her composure to smile. "However, it does seem like a waste to do nothing here. Shall we dance away from the lazy bums around here, Kane?" Kane widened his eyes, his heart beating. He never really expected to dance tonight with Ruka. He faintly blushed before nodding, and the two left as nobles, everyone staring at them with awe as they took the dance floor. Naruto smiled before greeting as he noticed her standing far away, as if finding him too out of her league to dance with. He decided to help her with a loud "Sayori! Wanna dance?" There were multiple whispers as the day class fans that were watching the night class students, but unwillingly to go forth, heard and wondered what were the two's relations. Their minds full of envy that a night class student called her out. While the night class eyed their enigmatic blonde oddly, having never heard him address anyone besides Kane without a suffix. Uchiha beamed. "Ah? Who's this? Is this why you're wearing so fancily? Are you a couple?" Sayori blushing vibrantly as she interrupted a bit too hastily. "Just friends. Really nothing special, Uchiha-senpai. I asked him out before the dance, so that's probably why." She fidgeted before hesitantly extending her hand. "Thank you for accepting, Naruto-kun." He grinned, yanking her hand forth before bringing it to his lips as he kneeled. Blue eyes staring up at her, his entire pose that of a charismatic princess. "The pleasure is mine, fair lady of mine. Now, shall we dance to our heart's contents?" Sayori's eyes flashed with amusement as her shoulders relaxed from the familiar phrasing. She forgot about the world, even the crying class president of hers, who was jealous that she got accepted while he rejected, as she followed through with her own impression. "We shall." Slowly, they both let go to bow and curtsy before waltzing together. Naruto quite impressed with her, having not thought that she had experience, but for now. "You look lovely in that dress, Sayori. The blue complements your eyes." She blushed, hiding a bit in his chest. "You too. The tuxedo is just perfect, Naruto." And soon the whole world spun around as they danced and danced and danced with the beat of the music. Once Yuki was gone, Kane noticed the crowds watching. "Who's that with Naruto?" Uchiha blinked before grinning. "Era? The girls said that they were just friends too. I don't know her name, but they look so happy together. Like they're in their own world." Kane slowly nodded, curious as he never saw Naruto really connect with anyone, even with them when the blonde stayed at the Kuran house for a while. He never showed it through being cheerful and accepting, even intimate with everyone around, but the boy was very distant with everyone as well. Deep underneath that persona and happy present was a broken child with a dark past. Still, there came an end to everything as Kaname stepped past Ichiju to tap Naruto on the shoulder. The blonde blinking before gazing at the brunette, who made a small gesture to follow. Naruto sighed, musing his hair a bit. I apologize. It seems that I have to go, Sayori. Sayori quickly shook her head, blushing as she realized how tired she was and late it was getting. Had they really danced so long? It felt so. It's alright. Thank you for dancing with me, Naruto. Naruto nodded before following after the brunette. Ado and Kane catching sight of him, but the blonde not stopping for them in his fast pace. Once outside, the two left in a flash. Naruto sighing, and I was having a fun time too. Your plans always move too fast. Kuran smirked. Please. I didn't know you have a girlfriend. Not yet. And probably not ever. She's human. Kuran's son and a guardian of Moonless prison. Shizuka's eyes blinked with surprise at the being with a wolf's head. A werewolf, or so termed by every ignorant person except her family of the insane and Kuran's family of vampiric rulers. Perhaps it were only their two dying races that knew just what the werewolves that guarded the now abandoned prison for supernatural beings really were. Vampires. Just vampires guarding vampires. The Namikaze line being a discrete line of vampires with the abilities commonly related to animals and the transforming into them. Their legend merely there to set them apart, placed the family further into the shadows so no one took hostages, and making the Moonless prison all the more fearsome. No one escaped until Rido. I heard that they were extinct. EU. Why are you with the Kuran's son? Don't you hate him? His uncle killed your entire clan to one. Icy blue eyes eyed her before he answered knowingly, I do. Right. I hate Rido. I am not like you or Zero. Hating just one person is fine with me. What's with that? Her eyes furrowed, her mind remembering the one she loved and how he was killed. What's with that? Hate him. Rip him. Destroy him. Make the entire family regret that they were ever born. Torture them. Her voice came out in a whine at the end as she cried furiously. Kaname watched detachedly but wondered what it would be like without Naruto. If the blonde really tried killing all of them for his uncle. It was unfathomable. She slowly calmed down as the werewolf said no more. Enough. Why are you here, Kuran's son? And so came the pointless conversation until Kaname ripped her heart out. Her eyes falling on him. You who follow the now accursed pure blood. What is your name, guardian of Moonless prison? I feel as if we met before somewhere. Naruto allowed his animalistic features fade away as he walked closer, blue eyes gently watching her. Nothing has changed since then, Shizuka-chan. I am still me. The girl's eyes wondered before she laughed as she recognized the once innocent little boy that ran all over the jails of vampiric world. I wonder. Her eyes softened. I do not wish to see the twins. Especially not that one. Do not give my blood to him. You'll do that for me, will you, Kurama? You owe me a favor for letting me escape. Naruto nodded, knowing very well that he did. It was a rule to their line as guardians. He bent down and kissed her hand, draining all the blood away from her body. She smiled. Thank you? You really have changed, Kurama. Her last words before she died shattered into little pieces of glass, her mind reminiscing of the past where her lover still existed, and of the sounds of a little boy playing echoed across the walls. Kaname too knew that the blonde has changed, though he never met him before the incident. He stood up, dusting himself. The smell of blood is strong. Erase it, Naruto. Naruto nodded, eyeing the wall, where he sensed anxiety. But he said no word to point the person out, mind already figuring out just who would follow them here. With a wave of his hand, everything, all the surrounding blood and odor of it disappeared. Ado froze as he listened. Kaname killed Shizuka Haya? And then, he heard an all too familiar title and name, the blood scent disappearing in an instant all of a sudden. No way, that should be impossible. When he looked, no one was there. Only shards of glass lying on the beautiful kimono of a pure blood. Naruto. We need to talk. The blonde shrugged as he listened to the ice noble that entered his room. Sure. Ada locked the door behind him before stating, Kanami-sama killed Shizuka High. Yeah, I know. You're not surprised? Ada felt his entire pace messed up by the blonde's simple reaction of continuing to flip to the next page of his book. I smelled you. So you really are a guardian of the former Moonless prison then? Ada stared at the sole survivor. I never thought that you were a werewolf. What are you doing with Kanami-sama? Ah, right. You didn't hear that part of the conversation. Werewolves are just vampires with special abilities. I was taken in by his parents when mine died. Really? Really. Ada's sweat dropped as another page was turned and the blonde kept reading. He already felt foolish for standing up. He sighed and moved forward to relax and sit on the bed as well. He gave up. There was no such thing as setting up a pace or plan perfectly when it came to being around Naruto. So why did Kanami-sama kill Shizuka Haya and drink her blood? Secret. How did you clean up the blood and scent so fast? Even Shiki can't do that. Special ability. What kind? Secret. Why does Kanami-sama treat Yuki so well? Secret. Do you like that girl you were dancing with? Who knows? You don't? She's human. 2 words and an answer that meant a lot. It was a stupid reason, but a reason stupidly important for too many reasons. That's true. Ada sighed, wondering how the world became so simple in Naruto's room. Now why are you following Kanami-sama, guardian of Moonless prison? The prison's dead now. You have no family now. You're free to do whatever you wish. Why the Qurans? I don't really understand it either. I just follow with the flow. I have no one, you know. I have no purpose now, nothing to do, no one to live for. Ada could never imagine that kind of life, surrounded by people and always innovating and following an aim. That sounds terrible. What happens when you find a goal? What would you be to Kanami-sama? That won't happen. My purpose will always be dead. Do you know what Shizuka Haya's purpose was? Naruto finally looked up from his book to eye him before he nodded. I do. I'm a guardian. I know everything about those chained. We have a special bind. Then what's the thing that Kanami-sama hates and want to destroy? Something I want to destroy as well, but can't. I have a special bind with him as well. He who ruined our fates. Ada's eyes narrowed at that, wondering who could possibly ruin Pureblood's fates, even a guardian. But judging by the red eyes, another question about that will just teeter the happy-go-lucky blonde off the edge to insanity. A very dangerous thing to do considering how he never saw Naruto mad before. He asked one final question. Were you really adopted into the Quran family? Of course not. Naruto calmed enough to continue reading his book with blue eyes. I'm a Namikaze through and through. I lived with them, but I'll never change my family. Well, Adu. My title is a secret, just as your eavesdropping of us. Hi. The Ice Noble knew a threat when he heard one, as he easily agreed. He wondered why he could never get full answers about Kan-Aim, even from the most honest of vampires. All of them gathered around Zero and Yuki in their own manner. Him perching on a tree branch again. Unlike with others, plants and animals never seemed to hate him or die around him. He enjoyed that right to a max. And soon, all the vampires chasing Zero were gone. Naruto eyed his brother figure the vampire aimed to kill, but missed. His newfound power had yet to be controlled, it seems. He raised his hand to the moonlight, staring at its blood within. He already had full control on his power. Not even Shizuka-chan can change that. What are you two doing? The blonde asked, watching Zero pant and glare while Ada sweat and pretend that he was anything but exhausted. They both looked away, unwanting to admit that they've been running around throughout most of the day. Yuki arrived as well and blinked. Naruto-senpai? What are you doing here? The blonde-eyed Zero, I smelled hunger. Both of the chairman's kids jumped a bit at the reminder. Zero still low from the Haya incident. Yuki eyed Ada nervously. What are you talking about, Naruto-senpai? You know what I'm talking about, Ada-kun. You're hungry, right? I'll go make something to eat. Both day class sighed in relief, Ada noting it, but nodding sure. You know where the kitchen is? I've been around here for a while. Naruto left them to their devices. Zero stared at the vampire before moving. I'll go cook as well. Yeah? I may look like this, but I'm a really good chef, you know. Zero scoffed. And even after both of them worked at cooking, they couldn't fill up the stressed genius. Zero handing off his pack of tablets and sending the girl off. You never ate any. Naruto stated simply as he tossed fried vegetables together. The juices sizzling together under the heat as he spoke. Zero nodded, confessing. I didn't. You already know who killed her, don't you? Can aim, right? In a way, but I made the final drain. Zero's eyes whipped up to him and Naruto gazed back at his red eyes. I can give you her blood, the blood you so need. Already, Zero found his eyes allured to the other's neck. And just as his teeth sank into the flesh, Naruto turned the stove off and this time didn't bother to hide it from the two others outside the kitchen. Yuki and Ada rushing in at the thump to see Zero suck his blood with Naruto calmly sitting on the ground, letting him. Naruto? Yuki the blonde ignored the other vampires for the moment to eye her. Do not worry about Zero. If you give him your blood, then you're betraying your love. What do why? Yuki tried asking, tried denying. Don't underestimate bloodlust. He snarled, unable to keep himself calm about that. He knew the intricacies of it so well that it was hard to not be angry at those who don't see its beauty. Zero finally detached himself from the blonde's neck, staring absently. It's over. Zero? Yuki asked, puzzled by the sentence. He won't ever be a level again. Naruto finished, all the while taking off his uniform, as always a messy eater. Ada-kun, the food's ready. I'm going to take a shower. Naruto Ada didn't even know what words to use. Naruto just passed him, nonchalantly yawning and swinging the jacket over his shoulder. Yuki, meanwhile, tried to snap Zero out of it. Zero? What's wrong with you? Why did he say it's? It's over, Zero repeated. I'm not tied to that woman. I'm saying. I'm full. Her eyes widened just as Ada's did at the implication. Yuki, being the idiot, didn't see the true implications, though, of how Naruto must have drunken Shizuka Haya's blood. Ada bit his lip before walking away angrily at being left out of everything even when he tried to be in the loop, but it was the same for him too. Even if he was betrayed, that was okay too. I'm so happy for you, Zero. Yuki cried happily for her brother figure. That was the last thing he heard once leaving. When spotting the blonde still leisurely walk, he grabbed the idiot's arm. How long? Oh, since you know now, I guess I can tell you. For years probably. Why? The blonde rubbed the back of his head before leaning forth to whisper, to make a pure-blood killer. What are you thinking? What are you scheming? Me? Oh no. I don't scheme. I don't have the goals to. Then what is Kanami-sama thinking? To protect his precious. That's all he thinks about, right? Naruto looked as if he was stating the obvious. Then again, he probably was. Jaya, I'm off to the showers. Come home sometime soon, Ada-kun. I'll make dessert. Parfait? Naruto nodded in a very Shiki-like manner. Anything. Your family after all. Why, I feel so loved. Ada beamed before asking, can I try some of Naruto's blood too? It looked so good when he drank it. Naruto arched a brow before pondering, sure. I'll nab some of your blood too then. Deal. Ada's eyes flashed before biting in the just-healed skin and widening his eyes at the feel of Shizuka's no pureblood's blood. It filled his veins with power, the immeasurable taboo. He could see why Kaname wanted it now. It was a world's full of energy condensed into little red cells, and then he blinked when he felt Naruto prick his finger with his fangs, and suddenly, the taste changed into something so heavenly and delicious, even better than Yuki's blood. He sucked and sucked and sucked to his full, probably gallons at once. So good. What was that, Naruto? I never had something. The blonde patted his hair and smiled mysteriously. That's for me to know, Ada-kun. Feel better now? Ada decided right then and there that Naruto was his second favorite Kaname-sama to always be number one. Now I feel so jealous of Zero, thanks. A vampire attacking a day class student? Naruto asked as he listened to the report. He flipped a page and stared at the last line, a detective group? Kaname looked away. Ichiju wrote that. Oh. Naruto. Yuki is troubled. Do you know why? Naruto blinked as he looked up from his book to see Sayori's chestnut brown eyes. Probably Zero or Kaname, right? Naruto simply replied before thinking about it. Actually, Zero most likely. Kaname is busy nowadays. Sayori grinned. Then, I'll have fun interrogating him. Naruto edged from the scary aura before eyeing her. Pity that she wasn't born vampire. She was very pretty. He sighed. Is something wrong, Naruto? No. Just that this girl can't end up with the main character no matter what. She's a ghost. Can't touch him no matter how much they can talk because he's a special mortician. Sayori softened her eyes. How tragic to be so close yet far away. She unconsciously cuddled closer with him, but no matter what, Naruto felt that they were far away as well. 4 boys arrived before an old, abandoned-seeming building. Kane walked in first, stopping at the sight of a Hanabusa. What's the matter, Akatsuki? I don't know why, but for some reason Yuki Cross is lying her unconscious. Ada paled before turning his head towards Kaname, who appeared behind him, quickly taking control of the situation. Naruto. The blonde followed afterward to blink at the sight. His eyes narrowing as he sniffed. Odd. No blood or taint. I think she just got her energy taken. A child vampire most likely. Kaname nodded. So what a troublesome girl. Naruto nodded before entering by himself to the party. He took no interest in the women despite dancing with many that were introduced to him or curious enough to want to talk to him, who stood by Kaname's side with just as glamour. But never once did he look at them with the same eyes as he did Sayori. On the train ride to Ada's home, Naruto blinked before whispering, Yuki's beginning to remember. So Kaname smiled, then the times almost arrived. Naruto yawned as he hung out with Akatsuki Kane, watching the idiots talk and relax in Ada's mansion. Ada blinked as he remembered him. Where does Naruto live? They turned to him, who appeared mysteriously on night class's first day. None of them knew about him, yet he was the closest with Kaname. And already, he has become one of all of them. Ada really never heard about his family despite the blonde's obvious strength and class matching that of an aristocratic vampire like Ikkyu. Though now he knew where all that strength comes from, seeing how he was a surviving Moonless prison guardian, warden of the former only prison for vampiric criminals and superiors like the Haya family. Naruto paused before smiling. Don't mind me. I roam a lot, so I don't really have a home. Isn't that sad? Rima asked curiously. Nah. I'm used to it. He grinned as he pointed out, besides I didn't have to meet Ichija personally like Kaname. My grandfather again. Ichija cried out in tears, hugging the fellow blonde. I can't help it if he's my grandfather, Naruto-kun wa, you should have went. Kaname smirked. No, you shouldn't. It would be horrible for you, Naruto. Not you too, Kaname. They laughed. Can I ask one thing? Edo a bit nervously asked. Kaname flipped his book before answering. What? Your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kuran, why did they commit suicide? Ada. Kaname has issues with replying, so Ichija covered the idiot's eyes, but Kaname looked up. I don't mind, Ichija. If you're going to be asking, I suppose you already know the answer? A pure-blood vampire's life is much longer than those of the noble class, and there's no chance of dying from disease or an accident. Outside of long life is death, which is only either suicide or murder. Mr. and Mrs. Kuran, they didn't seem like the type to commit suicide. Indeed, my parents were murdered. Kaname-sama's parents. Ada clenched his fists, remembering the kind couple who killed them. You can't take away a pureblood's life that easily. Don't tell me the one that did that was that mad woman. Edu. You're better off if you don't know more than this. But why, Kaname-sama? Then why did you give me a part of the truth? I figured that if I told you nothing, then you would act rashly on your own. But I mustn't tell you more than this for now, so there won't be another senseless death. Like Naruto's? Naruto smiled as he appeared behind Edu. Unfortunately, my parents died long before that. Ada-kun, same murderer though. Ada jumped at the sudden presence before his eyes narrowed. Same? Then why won't you both tell me? I want to use my powers for you, for Kaname-sama and Naruto. Enough, Edu! Ichija shouted, pushing him back down into the chair. Ada murmured his name, but he shook his head. Now's not the time, right? Right. Forgive me, Kaname-sama, Naruto. It's fine. They both replied. Please excuse me. Edu, at first, I thought you were thinking that I or Naruto had killed our own parents. Huh. To tell the truth, the fact that you didn't made me happy. Naruto, do you hate us? I have told you and your parents before. I do not. If you weren't tied to us, then I still would not. Ritto's the one's that wrong. Naruto simply replied. He's the one that. They both looked into the distance as they felt him awake. Both of their bonds activating once again so that they couldn't kill him. Siren arrived. Kaname-sama, I've just returned. Welcome back, Siren. How was it? I watched them, my lord. He has made his move. I see the flowers that Ruka held withered and crumbled instantly. It would have been nice if he had slept on forever. Naruto sighed as he shifted to his fox moment to stare at the forest. He hated all the emotions he had when he was in his human form and heard that. Everything is much simpler when he is animal. Everything becomes more beautiful, more natural, more dumber. He loved it. He didn't mind when Rima picked him up, murmuring about how she felt so lonely without Senri around. He did too. But no matter what happens, his family would never come back. Naruto. He turned to see Sayori, the girl smiling as she held out a wrapped gift for you. Did you have a nice vacation? Ah, yes, Sayori. Thanks. I got something for you too. Close your eyes? She did, her heart beating when she felt his fingers brush past her hair, fixing something around her neck. And then she gasped when he allowed her to open her eyes. A necklace of black moonstone chains and beautiful pure sapphire gems shaped as a rose. This must be so expensive. You didn't have to. Of course I did. Sayori's my friend, right? She froze. She had said it first during the dance, but to feel the rumored friend zone felt so hurtful. She slowly nodded, forcing herself to smile a bit as she looked up. Of course. Thank you very much. I'm afraid my gift isn't as pretty or expensive as this. It doesn't have to be. I'm just happy that I got something. Sayori, so how was your break? Good. But I really have to go. She ran, still affected by being just a friend. Naruto watched her before sighing. He knew how she felt, he felt the same way, but he was a vampire. They weren't meant to be together. They had to realize that now before it was too late, and hurt even more. Naruto. Rima? Why isn't she keep contacting me? Rima shook her head before he could offer an answer and gazed up. Can I hug you again? Only to ease the loneliness. Naruto understood and allowed it. Many day class people squealing. Sayori turning around at the noise to see it, and he allowed that too. They had to get over their relationship already. It's already becoming too late. Gomen. Thank you for helping me all this time. What? Naruto deadpanned at the half-naked boy who entered his room. And dry yourself off before you sit on my bed. Yes. Kaname replied, toweling his hair before sitting next to the reading boy. I just realized today how hard you worked for me. To think that you gave Zero Shizuka's blood while I was dealing with the council. You just realized that now? Did you offer him your blood or something? Almost. The Quran nodded, but it seemed as there would be no conflict or waste of blood between them today. You should realize your position already. Your blood is special. You remind me of the council when you say that. It's as if my blood is the only thing that is special. Naruto smirked. Well, isn't it? Brat. Well, thanks to you our blood is minimally taken. I should reward you. So in the end it really is only about Yuki-chan? Naruto recognized what the R meant immediately, having been with the man for forever. I need no reward. The Qurans took away my purpose. The Qurans gave me a purpose. That is all there is. My life is yours. But only currently, right? Once you're with the girl, you won't care about me anymore, right? That will never happen, Kaname. But it is too sad for that to never happen. I could never imagine a vampire letting what he loves go. That's because you're a pure blood. Naruto knew how the others in his class felt for each other. But never reaching. Just watching from afar, Quran too knew that and saw more hope as he smirked. Oh really? Then look again these next few days. So you finally decided? Kaname nodded. Warui. But I won't lie to myself anymore. I want to be her lover. Naruto smiled solemnly. When did things change so that they were opposites again? He had to lie to himself for her. Then order me as well. Kaname paused to remind, it'll hurt her even more. But it is for the best. Very well. This is an order sent by President Quran. Please let us follow and protect you, Yuki-sama. Naruto and 3 other vampires bowed deeply towards Yuki, his blue eyes catching the sight of a surprised and confused Sayori. What did you do to them to make them do this to you, Yuki? Yuki shook her head, tears almost flying as she followed Zero and tried ignoring them. In the end, she couldn't help but turn around and point and shout. Sorry. I don't really know what Kuran-senpai has said, but please think about the situation. Ada snapped, shut up, cross Yuki. Sama interjected Kane, Rima, and Naruto, but Ada ignored them to continue. Because the pure blood King Kanami-sama has chosen you to be his special one, we must treat you specially too. A plain little human girl like you will never understand. This is the pride that we nobles have. Naruto smirked as he bopped Ada's head down and bowed. Forgive him, Yuki-sama, for addressing you by such a derogatory phrase. It seems that despite his words, he still hasn't understood how to treat a pure-blood king's lover. Naruto-senpai, you too. It is my pleasure to be working with your real family again. Everyone's eyes widened and Yuki quickly asked, Wait again, you said real family, you know my past? He smiled mysteriously. I may know your past. I may not. However, is now the time to be saying such things? You'll be late for class, Yuki-sama. She opened and closed her mouth several times before running with Sayori and Zero. You have to tell me later. He smiled, Warui. Kanami-sama has specifically ordered me not to say anything for now. Ada furrowed his brows. Wait, weren't you? His eyes darting to the many vampires around. All could tell. Naruto knew what he was talking about though and nodded. I was. Then working with your real family? Sometimes the answer to the question is a lot simpler than you think. Take my advice, Ada-kun. Treat her respectfully now, and you won't feel as foolish when her memory comes back. Because she'll definitely be a pure blood and Kanami's little sister by then. And just the night came and Naruto smelled it. So it started. Yuki-chan's coming back. What? And then the two boys' eyes widened as they scented it as well. This blood, how? Naruto repeated, sometimes the answer to the question is a lot simpler than you think, Ada-kun. And then, they saw the siblings. Yuki sleeping within his gentle hold. Kane asked. Was Cross Yuki born as a pure blood? Ada, however, asked incredulously, she's your sister? Hanabusa, the Kuran family didn't have a daughter. Kane-kun, meet the adored hidden daughter of Haruka and Juri then. Naruto gestured to Yuki with a smile. It's been so long and by today, everything will be done. Kaname nodded before remembering, you may leave whenever you wish, Namikaze Naruto. Your family is no longer entitled to ours. This freedom is the least I can do for your service. For creating a monster to kill the pure blood we both want to kill but can't due to our binds, you are now free from our bind. Naruto blinked before nodding thoughtfully, repeating the word, free. However, I am not following you only because of the bind that our family shares for centuries. Very well. Kaname moved to his other two followers. Yuki was born to become my wife. If she still wishes to do so, that is. You. Is the person who made the entire academy a dangerous environment aiming for your sister? Kane began, hearing the hesitation in the pureblood's voice. Even though we don't know who the enemy is, we will continue to be on guard like this. You're not going to ask the name of the enemy? Because the reason for us to follow Kanami-sama is not because you are a pure blood as well. Kaname widened his eyes before grinning. It seems like I've been spoiled by you three. Once the pureblood siblings left, Ada groaned, remembering all the times he mistreated Yuki. Why didn't you tell me earlier, Naruto? You're right. I feel so stupid now. Kane smiled a bit, don't worry. You're always that. Naruto let out a bark of laughter. I thought it was obvious with the two looking like their parents, but he looked at the two apologetically. Warui. I can't help you in this fight as a guardian of Moonless Prison. The enemy is Rido. Kuran Rido. Eyes widened as they recognized the name. Kanami-sama's uncle. Kane also felt the added shock of Guardian. Jaya, you're a werewolf? Naruto laughed, a vampire. Since the prison doesn't exist anymore, might as well tell you. We're all just vampires with special abilities relating to animals. So Kane nodded amiably, then we understand. If I remember correctly, then the guardians were tied to their prisoners. How long was his sentence? Life. I can't kill him before that sentence is up. Naruto admitted, that's why I can't help you kill him. Jaya. He turned to move towards the dorms. I need to guard the day class students. This academy is not peaceful anymore. Ada remembered how Naruto said that Kaname needed a pure-blood killer, though he wasn't sure why Kaname couldn't kill Rido himself. Now everything made a lot more sense. Jaya, the one that killed both of their parents, must be. Kane quickly caught on, Rido. Naruto could always remember it. His parents betrayed by the council. Killed by Rito. Naruto could always remember how he ran away at the order of his parents, ran away and was later picked off the streets by the Kurans. He could remember being with his second family, and watching them die as he was unable to do anything. Jury binding him down below so that he couldn't watch a fight that he couldn't participate in no matter how much he wanted to. And thus, no one found out about him. The secret last survivor of Moonless prison. No one could find him out, and with his death, the council knew that no one could find out all their dirty secrets regarding the criminals in that place. Naruto really hated the world. This cruel and unfair world, yet he loved it. Who are you going to take as a present, Naruto slung his hands around the level E vampire. Said vampire froze as his more than eerie tone. No. He had no time to even scream as Naruto pulled his heart out, smashing it with a clench of his fist. The entire being turned to dust, and Naruto scoffed. An ex-human vampire shouldn't get ahead of himself. You alright, Sayori? She began just as Yuki and Ada popped in through the window. Yori-chan, are you alright? Did he do anything to you? Yuki? Naruto? You. Naruto watched as Yuki lowered her head. I'm sorry, Yori-chan, for making you go through something scary. Just now the person who became Ash, he's the same as me, I'm sorry Baka. Apologizing with such a sad face. You're making me sad. I was waiting for Yuki to come back safely. I was more scared of the fact that you might not return as my best friend. Yori-chan. The chess piece I so carefully raised for 4 years will soon become the king that will eat everything. That piece is you, the monster awakened from his coffin. Rito, you will destroy him. What's gotten into you? Do it yourself. Zero glared at the pure blood that changed Yuki. Kenim smiled. Do you really want to pretend like you don't know what you have taken into your body that has slowly begun to move? Kuran leaned on the bars, calmly stating, first you unconsciously took your twin's power of breaking the other fragment. You were born with the excellent lineage of a hunter by taking that power. If you were to complete the fragmentation here, it'll be better for you. Stop. Afterwards, you had begun to change into a vampire due to Shizuka. Naruto awakened you and slowly offered you blood. Zero's eyes widened as he remembered the blonde vampire that appeared one day to play with Yuki, the girl having known the other just as well as the Kuran. And that vampire had noticed him and told him about a special ability, and offered it to him while he was struggling with the bloodlust. That lying. He never lied. Naruto did as he said, changing you to near human one every half year. You yourself know that very well, feeling normal and clean during that time. Kanem looked at the ceiling. He also followed my order to change you to a higher level vampire, strengthening your minimal vampiric cells to those of level B with each drain. Discreetly, unnoticeably, please do not get mad at him. He did it all under my order. Naruto never lies. And he is now free from my grasp as I relinquished our ancestral bond. Now where was I? Despite his help, you still lusted after Yuki, feasting off of her blood quite a few times. Along with your taking of her blood, Yuki awakened. The original power of Kuran must have already started awakening in your body. And after a while, you had taken the blood of Shizuka. I was going to give you my blood with Shizuka's, but he did all that on his own while I was away. I forgave things that were not to be forgiven, all for this day. Soon you will become the most powerful hunter. You are the only one who can break Rito's curse on me. Did you actually think that I would do something to save you? You will never betray Yuki. I will take her and leave the academy. However, as long as Rito's existence is prolonged, he will continue to come after Yuki. Farewell. They had let go, and Sayori was now looking at her crush, her long-since friend, Naruto. The blonde nodded as he confirmed her thoughts. Yes, I am the same as well. That is why we cannot be together. Her eyes widened. B. Yuki, let's go. Naruto smiled at the nice timing. He didn't want to hear it, or he might lose his own resolve. Yuki eyed him. Does that mean Kaname-senpai and I have to leave the academy? Her eyes flinched at the light. Kaname moved forth to hug her. Sorry, it's bright, isn't it? Even the slightest light can be painful, I know. He moved his head closer down to her. The one who's going to protect Yuki is me, so come with me. There's somewhere we must go. But Yuki saw the signs. No! Kaname-senpai, I just sensed the eyes from 10 years ago again, and a lot of other scary vampires here. I can't leave Yori-chan here. Kaname squeezed her closer to his chest. You cannot run away from my arms. Compared to me, you are the same as a baby. A powerless girl like you, what can you do even if you stayed? Edu, bring Yuki's friend to a safe place. Edu glanced at Naruto, who nodded his consent, and he gently took her arm. Yes. Come here. And he left through the window. Kuran Rido-sama. The man looked back to see a familiar vampire, a guardian. One's still alive? Naruto merely stood straight as a mindless soldier. As being unable to fill my duty, I owe you one favor. Name it, and I shall leave. Oh, that odd oath you all swear into. Let evil escape, then be punished by evil, right? Jaya, as many things that he could think of, there was really only one thing he wanted, a taste of Juri's blood. The wolf stared before nodding, tilting his head to the side to reveal bare neck. Very well. Rido bit and drank thirstily, drank so much that the werewolf almost collapsed if it weren't for Rido holding him tightly as if fearing to let go. Drank so much that the vampire almost died, turned to dust like so many others just today, but as a favor for the meal, he let the little warden live. His bloodlust satisfied, though his real lust for the real Juri far from over. It was an alright meal. Thanks, Wolfie. Naruto smiled as his conscience faded. He was now going to be soon released from all binds that tied him to the past. Awake, sleepyhead? Shiki murmured, poking the idiot lying on the floor. Yeah. He yawned before blinking. Shiki, so you're free from your father? You've noticed? Naruto smiled. I did. We're quite similar in ability, you know. Blood doesn't lie. Then I wish it did. Now, he's just your father. Doesn't change anything about Shiki as a person. Shiki smiled and nodded. Thanks. He looked up. We should get out. I should help get rid of my share of vampires. Yeah. Ada-senpai. The ice user snapped out of his mumbles of the fragility of humans to look up at the girl that Naruto befriended. Saori Wakaba? She smiled gently. Thank you very much. I was still shaken for a bit after you saved me in the room, so I couldn't thank you properly before. Thank you? Ada blushed at the cheeks a bit as he now knew why Naruto liked her. You're welcome, it wasn't much. Eehee. Ada-senpai. He sweat dropped as a nerdy-looking girl stood up to call his name as well. I've long thought that there was something weird about you all. So I'm not gonna be all scared all of a sudden. He deadpanned at the comment, but watched as more started to talk and chatter about themselves. The dorm leader also standing up to talk to him. But you don't have to force yourselves. Sorry, but I'll have to ask you to forget everything about today. We will wipe out your memories, so don't. His eyes widened as the dorm leader spoke. To forget everything? No way, I don't want to forget. We're finally rid of the secrets and all. Everybody who doesn't want to forget, please stand up. Edu stared at them before looking away. Sorry, but this is probably your shock talking. And the vampire hunters wouldn't like it if we didn't follow protocol. We're all leaving anyways. You really don't have to try that hard. Saori froze before widening her eyes in fear. You're leaving? All of you? Edu couldn't look at her as he recognized the voice of deep hurt. Yes, even Naruto. And no way, but you have to be lying. Naruto swung down from the ceiling, landing on the floor. staring at her a bit detachedly at the eyes. It's the truth, Sayori. I have to leave. It's been nice being friends, but about the dance we really aren't meant to be together. Ada flinched at the coldness of his words. Sayori as well, before she remembered when Ada took her away from Naruto. No! She didn't want that again. She shook her head. No! Please, I don't want to be so far away from you or Yuki. That's too lonely. If you have to go somewhere, then take me with you. I can't. Where I'm going is only for vampires. It's too dangerous for you. Then turn me into a vampire. I love you, Naruto. She confessed, turning very red but not looking away from the intense, and now widened blue eyes. She couldn't. She felt as if she turned away now, then she might lose him forever. While Naruto seemed to be at a loss for words, the others seemed to be at a pool of words. The girls standing up and agreeing as well, professing their loves for the others. Ada put his hands behind his head, a bit annoyed at the situation. That's impossible. It's not like the stories. The only vampire that can turn others into vampires are purebloods. And it hurts a lot more than we ever want to think. Not to mention how you can turn mindless and be executed. That quieted a lot of people until Naruto finally spoke, staring into Sayori's eyes. You want to be a vampire? Yes. She nodded, determined. Her friends were, and she didn't want to be left behind anymore. She hated the secrets. She wanted to be by their sides. Even if you had to abandon your family? Yes. Even if you had a chance of dying in the process? I won't. But if you... Then that's fine as well. At least I tried. Even if you had to survive on blood, sleep through the day, and possibly be dragged into the whims of vampiric society? Or even chased by vampire hunters? I won't mind, you will teach me at least, right? She smiled kindly, Adu amazed at her determined eyes, mature face, and gentle smile. Naruto sighed. And you won't stop bugging us until you get turned into one? She laughed, eyes alit. Yes. But don't you want me to be one? You like me, right? Naruto blushed at the cheeks, but nodded, finally confessing, I love you, Sayori. I always did ever since I first saw you. Sayori pouted. Now that I think about it, you figured out that I was in the library after school by that paper cut, didn't you? Naruto grinned sheepishly before teasing, and now you know that I wasn't lying when I said that you were beautiful. She blushed violently, but ran forth to hug him. But really, please don't leave me. I want to be with you, Naruto. Jaya. Then I'll protect you from the world. Some of the girls in the background wanted to say that it wasn't fair, but Ada silenced them discreetly from his already prepared, strategically placed ice. The coldness making them fall asleep. Ada eyed the blonde. Are you sure this is all right? Is Kanami-sama really going to turn her anyways? Naruto sighed. This doesn't escape this room, Adu, Seer and Sayori. The three nodded unsurely as to his next move. Naruto surprised them by closing the space and gently biting her on the neck. Sayori gasped at the feel, but relaxed and hugged the blonde tighter, knowing that it was harder for the reluctant for her safety vampire. When he finished more quickly than she thought, she anxiously asked, Does my blood taste good? Naruto chuckled, patting her on the head. Don't worry. I just held myself back since you need the blood. I really want to eat you up. He winked, making her blush. And then he bit his wrist, tearing a large gash out of it. Drink. Eh? Your first taste of blood. If you really want to be a vampire, then drink. She gulped unconsciously, but nodded and licked the blood. To her surprise, it didn't taste anything as she thought. It tasted so good. And then on her first sip of blood, she felt something loudly thump inside her. Was her body sizzling? She felt so hot, and she screamed once at the horrible feeling of her entire body changing and changing. Are you all right now? She opened her eyes to see blood spots everywhere, and then veins on the man she loved so much, fangs she didn't know she had protruding as she bit his neck and drank greedily, the hot warm blood tasting so good. It must have been hours as she was relishing the taste until she finally came under control of herself. Naruto's neck so bloody. Ah. Sorry, I didn't. A large hand patted her, and she looked up to see the blonde's kind eyes. It's all right. It's your first drink after all. Are you really fine with this? Being a vampire and all? She nodded, admitting, it's a bit weird. I see blood. I smell blood. I feel stronger. There's something monstrous inside me, but I'll never regret it. As long as you can keep saying that, Sayori. He smiled. As long as you can keep that smile of yours, I'll be happy. Edu broke up the lovey moment to shout, wait! You're not a pure blood. There's no way that could be possible. Naruto flicked his nose, it's not. You promised, remember? Don't tell anyone about this. You too, Sirin-chan. Kaname already knows, but no telling others. She nodded, fine as long as her liege knew. Edu complained, but how? She doesn't even feel like an ex-human type anymore. Come to think of it, Zero doesn't even feel like one either. Naruto paused before shrugging as he moved to remove memories. I can manipulate blood and the information stored within them. I can turn a pure blood into the most human of vampires, and I can turn a human to the most vampiric of vampires. Then you can also read information within them. Edu remembered Naruto drinking blood from his finger, and suddenly his blood turned super delicious. He didn't mind that Edu fidgeted as he wondered if Sayori would let him still feed off of her future husband. He beamed, I won't tell anyone. What's with that creepy face? Both boyfriend and girlfriend deadpanned at the same time. Edu already off into his own world. Sirin bowed before reopening the door. I entrust the erasing of their memories to you two and take my leave. The two male vampires nodded, more serious, go ahead. Sayori eyed her friends in day dorm. Do we really have to erase their memories? Yes, Sayori. The world isn't ready yet to know of our existence. I will let you still live with your parents, but you can't ever tell them that you're a vampire. Ada sighed. Good thing that the council never knew of your ability, though. That's too dangerous. Though what are you going to do now when you leave? Naruto pondered. Hunting, most likely. I used to be a prison warden. Now I'll be keeping the world peaceful rather than just the prison. So. Naruto, you used to be a prison warden? Sayori asked curiously. Naruto nodded. Since we'll be together, I might as well tell you everything. If you don't like it, then you're welcome to leave anytime you wish. I would never. Sayori cut in. Naruto blinked before smiling. Thanks. Outside, Naruto saw Kaname and Yuki. Both of them seeing him and Sayori as well. Yuki widened her eyes at the smell. Yori-chan, her eyes turned red. Naruto. Sayori quickly stepped in front of the blonde while the blonde whistled. Dang, so you really remember everything. Kaname arched a brow. Of course, however, you do know that the whole world will think that I turned her, right? Naruto nodded solemnly. I apologize, Kaname-sama, but may you do me this favor? Kaname is just fine, Naruto. And I will guard your secret. It will be troublesome for me if anyone finds out about your ability as well. Thanks. Yuki huffed. It's not over, Naruto. What are you thinking turning my friend into a vampire? What are you thinking leaving me all alone and behind? Sayori huffed herself, frowning. I'm your best friend, Yuki. To think that you would just leave me so easily. It's not like that. Then what? I chose to be a vampire. Naruto warned me of all the risks, and I chose to take them. Do not get mad at him. But what about your family? Aren't they? They'll understand my choice. Sayori finished quietly. We're going to visit them now before heading to Naruto's home. Kanami's eyes twinkled. I thought you didn't have one. I roam a lot, but I always come back to that one. Then come back to our one anytime you wish as well. Kaname smiled, patting his little brother figure on the head. Naruto scoffed, feeling like a child. The scene making the two girls giggle. Out of all the vampires Kaname knew, Naruto was the one that knew the most about him, and for that reason, Kaname trusted him even with their treasure place. Yuki was the same, as she now remembered all the fun games that Naruto played with her when she was little. And now she knew who that snow owl that spent years with her and that little orange fox at the night class party was. Naruto nodded before looking out the window and seeing Zero. Wait here, Sayori. I need to talk to Zero. Zero? They all looked to see him, Yuki worrying. Are you sure? He might try to kill you. Naruto nodding. I'm sure. I have to apologize and tell him about his body. If it's about how you secretly turned him into level B, then I already told him. Oni-sama/Kaname. Both of his siblings shouted, scandalized. Naruto paling. Oh shit, he really will kill me. Whatever, I have to tell him. Naruto's Sayori reached out for him, but failed as he flashed away. It's you. Zero growled as he looked at the other. Naruto sheepishly smiled. Yes, it's me? A gunshot, but one not aiming to kill. Naruto blinked. You're not getting revenge? Zero scoffed. It was a deal. Just that I agreed without listening to the price. Not to mention, your master was the one who ordered it, those pure bloods controlling every single thing around them. I only hate them so much that I'll unreasonably kill them, and Sensei told me about how your ability might be the secret to turning all vampires into human. I won't kill you. Naruto eyed the vampire hunter more seriously. Not all vampires would like that, you know. We're just as proud as humans. Then live proudly as humans. Zero growled before blushing a little at his outburst. Not that I want any of you cruel bloodsuckers to be humans. His lips curled up. Jump on me and I'll shoot you dead without mercy. Hi, he smiled, albeit weakly, before looking at the twin brother. Here. Let me. Naruto removed all the blood stains and odor off of the little brother's clothes and being. Zero pausing before tilting his head down in thanks. The blonde smiled. Don't take everything so seriously, Zero. Life's better when you relax and look around. Not everyone can relax like you, Naruto. Now leave. I don't want to see you ever again. Then I will meet you again and again and again. Just because we're friends and I worry over you. Now that you're level B, you'll have a lot more control and can take blood pills. Stay safe. TCH. Zero turned and walked away. Naruto watching for a while before leaving. Yuki pouting. Why do you get better treatment? Sayori sighed out of relief, now understanding Zero's hatred towards the night class students now that she herself was a vampire. Kaname too relaxed? Naruto simply replied. I'm not a pure blood or a little sister. Sayori giggled. I think it's the later. Why Ori-chan? What is it, Yuki-sama? She curtsied, Yuki staring at her betraying friend while Kaname covered his mouth as he chuckled. Naruto murmuring, well, aren't we all home? Kaname nodding, yes. And that's all. Naruto finished, sitting in front of Sayori's parents, with Sayori besides him. The two parents stared at the two, shocked, until the mother held her brow. Wait, let me get this straight. Naruto nodded. Vampires are real. Naruto nodded. You're a vampire. Naruto nodded. You love my little girl. Naruto nodded. You turned her into a vampire. Naruto nodded for a final time. And she finally got up and slapped him across the face. Mother! Sayori shouted, rushing to Naruto's side to check his wound, to her relief, it already healing. I forced him to do it. Don't hurt Naruto because of it. The two females stared at each other until the mom smiled, then, I'm fine with it, you two can get married all you wish, I support. What? Sayori could literally feel the split ends of her hair. She was expecting a refusal, or something. The mother, however, beamed, blatantly feeling up the Hulk's body. Nice choice. And very sincere. Normally in the drama, this is where the boy runs away with the girl and never visit the family again. You have money, right? Naruto nodded. Rich, handsome, and nice, perfect hubby. I don't think we can arrange a marriage better than this, Hinata. Mother. Sayori blushed at the sight of her own mother touching her own boyfriend's muscles while commenting on everything. Naruto just sitting nonchalant and nodding. Father. Stop them. The man's eyes stared deeply into the teens before a sparkle appeared and the father slammed a sake bottle on the table. I accept. Naruto nodded. Father. Sayori really worried for her family's sanity, especially Naruto's, as he seemed to become a nodding robot. Somebody. They were nice. You have good parents, Sayori. Naruto comforted the tired girl. They had been sitting on the underground train for a few minutes now and finally stopped at a place Naruto knew very well. This is Moonless Prison. Formerly the only prison in the world with vampires, but now there's another prison for that. My family controlled this entire place since vampires' beginning. Now, every guardian of this place has been officially wiped out. Even me in the records. I'm only Namikaze Naruto now. So then, it's a good prison. But why are we here? This is my old home as well. We wardens live here for years, for life. Of course, we're just going to visit this place though. I already bought a mansion closer to Yuki's place. Thanks. I like that. Sayori blushed, wondering about how much Naruto loved her to include her in every detail and decision. They walked slowly around the place, Sayori able to see the rundown rooms, the intricate details, and the graves of his parent and his guardian identity. She bent down, dusting off the stones, and clapping her hands together to pray for their health. She listened as Naruto talked to them, conversed to them, introduced her to them. And soon they left. The past behind them just like that. They were good parents too. Naruto smiled. A year passed and Sayori found herself happier than she ever could be with Naruto. They shared time reading together. Joined the modeling world together once in a while, Shiki and Rima borrowing him whenever they needed an animal actor due to his tameness. Sayori always laughed at that. While Sayori studied more and attended college with Naruto's connections, Naruto worked as a veterinarian/regular doctor. With his natural affinity for blood and animals, he was easily the best of his field and popular. Naruto also wrote some books, influenced by his godfather, who Sayori found out had written the perverted orange books in the distant untouched shelf at the back of their mansion's library, and the book that Naruto loved rereading, The Tale of the Gutsy Shinobi. They visited family together many a times, bringing over intricacies, friends, or taking them out to see places. They also visited Yuki, Kan-Aim, and those of the night class many times as well. They also fed each other, and even slept together, though Sayori wasn't quite ready for that yet. And Naruto also taught her vampiric society, etiquette, and skills. And then came the soiree. Well then, shall we start? Ruka asked before grimacing at the depressing sight of an unconfident pureblood. Hey, come on. Ruka-san, I'm not so sure about this. After all, it might be dangerous. I'm worrying more and more. I'm really nervous. Please stop that. The maids from the Ada family can hear you. She turned to them, sweating. Do not mind that. You can proceed. As Yuki was dressed, Sayori entered with a smile. Ruka. How's Yuki? Ruka gave a pointed look towards the girl, now making ungirly noises. Sayori grinning. She wouldn't be Yuki if she didn't. Point taken. Though it would be better if you had Sama, no matter how friendly you are with her. You are after all. Sayori nodded, Naruto having told those within Kanami's inner circle about the truth of her transformation to level B. her transformation becoming famous due to her being just like any other aristocratic vampire, and not any near being similar to any other level E. After all, even Zero risked level E before. But still, an ex-human vampire was an ex-human vampire. She was still servant to Master Kaname. Vampiric upper society followed just as many rules as all nobility. Yuki pouted, but glomped the beautiful Sayori Wakaba. Yori-chan, save me from this place. Sayori shook her head, not willing to play along. Sorry, Yuki-sama. I'm making my debut to official vampiric society here as well. I can't mess this up for Naruto. This is where all training pays off. Ruka nodded profoundly. That's the spirit. Ruka observed the girl's features before approving. Not bad for an ex-human vampire. You too, Ruka. Those are some pretty nails. They both shook hands in acknowledgement, while Yuki wondered when her friend changed so drastically. But considering how she was more happy and outgoing, Yuki was happy for her. So it was a good thing for Naruto to change her. They all began focusing on the manicure and then talking about Kaname. Actually, I'm not sure what to think of him being so skilled at manicure, or what could be the purpose for him to learn such a thing so well. Sayori sweat dropping. Even Naruto doesn't go that far, Yuki. Ruka nodded. Tell me about it. He's completely hopeless, isn't he? But well, I'm so glad that you two are getting along well. Ruka-san. Yuki's eyes softened as she knew Ruka's old feelings for Kaname. Sayori, however, had a mischievous glint in her eye as she elbowed Ruka. So, Ruka, how's Kane? Why all of a sudden? Ruka blushed. Oh please. You should think about him more. He was popular back when we were all in school, right? He wouldn't be a bad fiancé. Cool, handsome looks, strong, aristocratic, always supportive and calm. I think you two would look good together. Yuki cried for Naruto's influence on Yori-chan while Ruka blushed and began denying everything with a retort. However, Sayori grinned triumphantly, knowing that she won the war now that the girl was beginning to think about him. One of the talents that passed off to her from Naruto was the ability to sense emotions within blood, and just how many people denied their own feelings was really annoying. Especially because Naruto had once denied his own feelings for her. She didn't like it. She didn't like seeing such unrequited loves, and it was obvious that Ruka will never get Kaname, just as it was obvious just how much Kane loved her. Ruka finally caught her breath and coughed. Anyways, the meeting with the hunters is being held in the last floor of this same building. At this ball, you might happen to see various people you know from before. You might feel nostalgic because of that. But please don't forget to remain ladylike, okay? Both girls who once lived as humans in Cross Academy solemnly swore, I will be careful. Era? So there is a girl who changed from level E to B. Amazing, simply amazing. Will you tell me your secret, girl? Kindly come closer. I want to admire your beautiful face. What fine blood, full of power. I dare say you are even stronger than some nobles. It's fine to not be a human anymore, right? Sayori froze a bit at all the voices, all the blood calling out for hers. Naruto nudged her a bit, and she caught herself, quickly adapting to even this odd gathering of watching eyes. She had to survive. What is your name, young lady? She smiled and curtsied politely. Wakaba Sayori. I am pleased to meet you all. They repeated her name and smiled with opportunist glints in their eyes, which soon disappeared as they felt a glare and tingled down their spines. They gazed to her side. Naruto-san. They began to repeat now. Naruto standing still over and looking down at even the vampires taller than him. How he made the world seem so small, Sayori would always wonder. He bowed curtly, now having all their attention. My apologies for introducing her so late. She is my fiancée. And that soon made all those ready to take her hand back off. Sayori eyeing him with a bit of awe, as no one dared to try biting her for a taste or taking her hand for a dance anymore. She knew her lover was strong, charismatic, and notorious, but this so? They parted for her like waves and bowed with different smiles, like a predator in hiding rather than open. They gave her all sorts of congratulations and new words for her being his fiancée, and Naruto whispered for her ears only, "Get ready. We're only beginning the difficulties of being a human-turned-vampire." She murmured back, "I'm sorry. I'll keep track and I still won't regret it." "I wonder," he replied before leaving and beginning to chat with those somewhat near his class. Sayori took the cue as well to be independent, but always his, and walked off as well, meeting Sarasama and a human. Zero widened his eyes as he recognized the blood within her. Sayori gave him a composed look that said nothing to confirm. She did, however, gesture to the hand that enclosed Sarasama's. The pure blood about to take the human who happened to be the dorm leader of Day Dorm. Sayori wondered why she came when Edo and Naruto should have erased the memory of everyone but her that day. Apparently not. Yuki came and helped absolve the problem. Naruto too arrived to introduce her to high-quality human blood in a glass, only to catch the same smell that the two other girls caught. Blood? Oh, she sure got nerves too. Naruto? Sayori. Let's leave. Uri's still not here. She sniffed before realizing that there was a missing pure blood. Quickly, she followed him, walking just a little bit behind for the crowds. After a few moments, the smell of blood became heavier and thicker and more apparent, and they reached the scene first, Naruto pulling on the sheets to see glass shards shaped like a bodies. Sayori, however, stared at the bloody vampire hunter. Soon, all the people came together, including Zero. Yuki asked, "What happened here?" Naruto simply answered, "Uri's missing. We got a pure blood killer in our hands." Zero scoffed, "Not the only thing, vampire. She was bitten by a vampire." The blonde scoffed bitterly for the loss of the pure blood. His vampiric side of him angered. "Fine. That girl's fingertips are turning to dust." She stabbed herself in the heart just as she was about to turn. That girl, she didn't kill him, but her anti-vampire weapon certainly did the trick to stopping his regeneration. Sayori, too, felt something within her ached for the loss of a pure blood. Was this the connection between pure bloods and everyone else? She wondered if this was how Naruto felt when Shizuka and Rido died. This loss of binds. She faintly listened to Yuki as she began to talk, but she did listen when Kaname spoke. "Yuki, get out of the room before the scent of blood gets on you." Naruto and her did not comment that Naruto knew how to erase such things to the point where it seemed as if nothing had even happened and such existences did not exist. Zero and Kaien didn't either, as they agreed with the brunette. But the soiree. That farce, Zero narrowed his brow as he continued eyeing the human Elmastern vampire, obviously ends right now. "This isn't something you need to involved in, Yuki. This is my job." "Yuki-sama. Please listen to Kaname-sama," Naruto said while frowning. Sayori edged closer to him with fangs. "Kaname-sama, please excuse us for leaving early." Kaname nodded curtly, knowing how everyone, even those within his circle, were unconsciously tied with the pure bloods and saw them as prey. Naruto quickly took her hand and left. She drank thirstily, biting deeper and deeper to drain out every bit of life and energy of the blonde. And then finally, she drank no more. Blinking, she sat up on his chest and looked around. "Ah. Sorry, Naruto. I lost control of myself." He nodded. "It's all right." "But what was that? Why?" "We see pure bloods as prey. All of us do. We're possessive over our treasures, and bloodlust increases when we feel high levels of emotion, like when we lose one." Sayori frowned. "I don't see." "You do. Unconsciously. As hard as it is, there will always be something separating us from them, just as there is something connecting us when we befriend." "So do you think?" Naruto sighed. "I believe. Kaname probably does too. Uri is the type to wait, not do. Shirabuki-chan must have turned the vampire hunter, called him out, and killed him." "Why didn't he fight?" Sayori asked, remembering how hard it was to kill a pure blood. He didn't want to. Naruto simply replied, "You got to understand, Sayori. Pure bloods get tired. They live so long that eventually they lose the will to live. For immortality's worth, there's only 47 pure bloods left in this world. It's a sad sight to see someone lose the will to live." Sayori stared absently, her mind numbly realizing that those siblings were going to live longer than usual as well. What is it like to be the last man on Earth? Naruto didn't have time to answer the question as a servant appeared and bowed. "My apologies for the interruption. You have 2 visitors." Naruto smelled the air before relaxing. Let them in then." Sayori tilted her head. "Who?" The blonde answered as he buttoned up his shirt. "2 hunters you know very well." "Sayori, forgive me." She understood the words when Zero appeared and pierced his neck with hungry fangs. Naruto sighing as he understood. "You want to feel human again, or could it be that you smelled her blood again?" He sniffed the faint smell of Yuki's blood on him. His eyes slowly turned to Kaien. "I told you my residence, but to think you brought a hungry vampire in. TSK, Kaien-kun." Kaien smiled apologetically. "My little boy's chugging down pills like a rebel. He's unstable." Sayori understood through the smell of emotions within the blood. She smiled and hugged her boyfriend from behind. "Silly Naruto, there is nothing to forgive. I don't mind. Zero's Yuki's brother." Zero looked up from his meal. "Brother Naruto. Is Kanem really Yuki's brother?" "What are you talking about?" Sayori began. "Even Kaien confused, isn't it?" "Is he?" Zero eyed Naruto firmly. "I noticed this for a while now. I have drank Yuki's blood, so I should know Shizuka's not the only pure blood you drank from before. Not even the first, no, even third." Both widened their eyes and Naruto paused before admitting with a nod, "I drank my fair share of pure blood." "Then, you should know, having read all their memories." "I do." "Then what is it?" Naruto wondered before deciding that he could and should tell. Especially if Kanem already gave that big of a hint to Zero. Yuki's older brother died a long time ago. He was sacrificed by Rito to awaken the strongest Kuran ancestor. Sayori's eyes widened and she gasped at the thought that. "So what he said was true," Zero murmured, finally understanding those words from a year ago. "Does Yuki know?" "She should. If she really did try carefully reading his blood, that is. TCH. Bloody monsters. Still loving her own ancestor." Naruto shrugged. "What's wrong loving who you love?" Sayori and Kaien smiled while Zero scoffed before eyeing the blood donor. "Why do you reek of pure blood anyways? A B-class shouldn't be able to have so much." Naruto shrugged. "I used to be a guardian of Moonless prison. I drank my fair share of vampiric criminal blood for the rituals." Moonless prison, the former prison for vampires. So that makes a lot more sense. With how much pure blood you have, it's no wonder the bloodsuckers revered you so much at the soiree. Not a prey, but a predator who won. Not to mention, won many times. "I'm not sure if I like you describing me like that." Naruto scratched his cheek before shooing him. "Get off me. I gave you enough blood to pretend human for weeks. But use that time to accept who you are, okay? It's dangerous to have your emotions haywire like that. You should notice already that the more emotional you are, the more you lust for blood." Che. Though. They all turned to him with widened eyes at Naruto's next words, despite how apathetically and casually he said it. "There is a way to turn back to a human, I guess." "Awa, why do I have to do this work?" Naruto sighed as he shifted through the library, a large hand covering his. "Kanem? So what is a thief doing in the Quran archives?" Kanem smiled as he spotted the one who knew everything. "Even. What's wrong? Not like you to call your cute little brother a thief." "His troubles," Kanem confessed. I killed Aiden Nagamichi. Ho! I bet you faked it, came the immediate response. Kaname smiled. He could always trust him, to always believe in him. It hurt him that Naruto placed a hand over his heart, his chest, and Kaname relaxed into the steady hand. Forgive her. She's still new to our games. Yeah. So what are you looking for? Your old research notes. Kaname's eyes widened. I thought you hated the idea of vampires turning back to human. Naruto scoffed, looking away. I do. People shouldn't throw away their identity completely. However, though there is a way to turn back to a human, I guess. Eyes widened and all stared at Naruto incredulously. Said Blonde yawned, anyways, don't bother me WH. I thought you said there wasn't one 5 years ago. Zero held the damn vampire by the collar, growling angrily. There wasn't one 5 years ago. And I said that my ability can't turn you into a human. Nothing more, nothing less. Naruto quickly said, panicking for a moment, caught off guard. Kaien asked while restraining Zero back, the vampires develop such a way then? Naruto scoffed, why would we? Then why isn't there one 5 years ago, and who made one now? Zero asked, eyes glaring red. Naruto sighed. There isn't one now either. Then why the hell did you say? I don't lie. Naruto groaned at the loud voice, there really is a way. A person in the past researched such a cure and almost finished, but then came the war between purebloods and it was forever left incomplete. I'd say that someone with my expertise and ability only needs a year at most to finish it. Someone without my ability would need centuries due to the need for a blood understanding. Then you can make it? I can. Then, make it already. Yada. Naruto scoffed again, annoyed at being ordered by the hunter. Why should I? I'm a vampire and proud of it. Everyone else is the same as well. We're all born as who we are and live by that. You humans are the same too, right? That's why you want to stay human so much. Not to mention, abandoning your vampiric identity is cowardly. It's like abandoning your entire self. People like that should die. I won't create such a stupid, worthless thing. Not worth the effort. It's been 10 years since I saw those archaic notes, and I still agree today and forever will. Zero growled, it's not worthless. It's not cowardly. You funker. If you created it years ago, then I wouldn't have needed your messed up self. Naruto lifted his chin haughtily. Blaming me is the same as blaming yourself or anyone else for not making such a thing. You. Zero. Kaien shouted before looking apologetically towards Naruto, sorry. And then sharply, but please do make it. It's not worthless to those who really want to be human or become human again. What about the level yes? They chose. It's the greatest sin to convert unwilling humans. They should live by their decision and die by it. They should have no regrets. Sayori remembered how Naruto asked her all those questions and nodded. Sorry, Zero, Chairman-san, I agree with Naruto on that. Kaien frowned, that's too cruel. To pay the price for one mistake in a decision in living and falling to insanity later. And what about those who really were turned by vampires who broke the taboo? Like Zero? That's their fate. That's where I don't agree with you, Naruto. You're too fixated on supporting your own race, then I will support mine. Don't you feel sad for those who end up like Zero? They should be able to choose to make up for their fate if such a cruel thing happens. Not everyone's like you, Naruto. Naruto sighed, I know that. However, I still find it pointless. Those people are so rare that they might as well be 1 out of a billion. But still, the Naruto I know is kind enough to think of that minority. Fine. Only for you, Sayori. Thanks. Kaien beamed, thank you so much, Naruto. You don't know how this will change the world now. Coexistence might really be possible. Zero eyed the blonde before looking away. You're not a bad vampire after all. TCH. Found that out just now after 5 years. I guess I will let them choose for themselves. You're doing another thing I hate too, right? It seems like this month's my downtime. Kanim chuckled. Funny how you describe it simply like that. If only the world could be so simple. But it's not. It's not. Don't interfere, Naruto. Keep researching no matter what rumors adrift. Learn and succeed at what I couldn't, though you probably already know the path to the answer. See you later, brother. Eyes widened and he repeated, though they both felt as if they were never going to meet each other again. Naruto. Yori-chan. Yuki-chan/Yuki. They both looked up from their respective books to see the elegantly dressed girl. I have something I wanted to talk to you about. Ada-kun. Naruto. The man noted. What are you? I heard about what happened and won't comment. You have the right to feel however you are right now. I am just passing the news, though. Yuki is planning to restart night class. Shiki and Rima are planning to tell the nobles that they are collaborating with her. Ada pressed his head further into his hands as the door once again closed. Naruto and Sayori both stood near the doorway with Rima and Shiki, both of them stating their will to collaborate as well. Later, during the opening, however, they both deadpanned when Yuki proved to be herself yet again. Please count on me as the errand girl. While Ada shouted, Sayori giggled and Naruto sighed. That's how things are in the end. By the way, what book are you reading? Just one on cells and random crap like that. Not interesting at all. Sayori kissed him one on the cheek and tilted her head for a smile. Thanks for doing it no matter how much you didn't want to. Naruto scratched his cheek. Well, it's alright, I guess. Naruto sighed again as he observed Yuki, murmuring to himself, You got to help her, Sayori. This is kind of hard to watch. Shiki nodded, sitting away from the girls just like him. He repeating, hard to watch. Ada sighed. If only there was a way to accelerate her to Kanami-sama's level. Can-aim. Naruto and Shiki patted him on the back, quickly changing the subject. Though eventually, the three were back to the topic of Yuki. Naruto complaining. She needs to be more assertive. No one follows a leader that bows easily. We follow and admire kings because they're selfish. Blink. Both of his friends looked back at him before looking like a light bulb lighted. Ada murmured, I never thought of that. Sarasama, is there something you need us for? Sayori politely asked while still sitting on Naruto's lap. The two reading books together again. Sarah smiled. I was just interested. If I remember correctly, then you two are Kanami's little brother figure, and Kanami's former miracle servant. That would be us. Sayori steeled her emotions, the pure blood she gained from drinking from Naruto helping her snap out of the charm. Sarah smiled amazed. Era? You really are around level B, maybe, no, even higher, to be able to break the influence. Naruto's eyes glared. Cut to the chase, please, Sarasama. What is it that you want? I have many things I want, she murmured before giving them 2 bottles of pills. For now, I would like to recommend these new blood pills. Though you are probably feeding from each other, it's not bad every now and then to take one. Naruto sighed before popping one in and blinking. It tastes decent. Glad you like them, Sarah beamed before excusing herself and walking away. After she left, though, Naruto frowned. If you're going to take it, then I'll need to bite you. Eh? Why? Sayori asked as she nibbled one for experimentation. She blinked as it tasted better than the other one, but she long recognized the taste. Oh. Naruto leaned into her neck, hugging her closer to his chest. For a bite, yes, it's pure blood. I'll need to rid you of her nasty taint. She blushed but held him as well. Then do it. Naruto. The blonde looked up from the book he was reading, his back leaning against the wall near the crowd of vampires bowing to Yuki. He blinked before bowing as well. Yes, Yuki-sama? You of all people do not need to address me like that. Yuki pouted and Naruto smiled. Sure. Need something? My brother, you know what he is doing, right? I do. He's an ancestor after all. So you did know in the end, you two never tell me anything. Do you agree with him? That all purebloods shouldn't exist? Naruto eyed her and all those staring at him around before closing his book. To be honest, I don't. Some gasped when his entire head morphed into that of a wolf's and he spoke in a voice that chilled even Yuki's pure blood. I am a firm practitioner of tradition. Even if my system was destroyed long ago, and then he shifted back to his usual state, I still believe in traditions and the importance of purebloods. However, I also see where he is going with this. I don't agree with him, but the least I can do is understand him as a brother. Now go. Go ahead and kill him. A good ruler has to enforce their beliefs onto others. Even if he's family. Even if he's family, Naruto repeated without hesitation. Edo agreed, giving her a talk. They both watched as she left. Once she was out of hearing distance, Edo eyed Naruto. Why do I have a feeling that you know why my father had to die? What are you talking about? Come on, Naruto. I've lived long enough with you since the first night class to know when you know secrets. TSK, TSK, TSK. Secrets are supposed to be secrets. Naruto smirked, wagging a finger. Ada growled, childishly biting it. The blonde sweat dropped before shaking his head at the other's antics. Ruffling his hair, Naruto answered, What are you talking about, Ada-kun? Your father's not dead. What? Mao, I thought it was obvious. Kanami's too soft to do that. Your father should be sleeping. I believe it was Hanadaji's castle? Ada ran, practically teleported out once hearing the location. Some vampires cried out and followed him while the others gave him newfound looks. He merely went back to reading with a soft smile. Nanda. So the Kanami follower really doesn't believe in him anymore. A night class student asked him, Can Kaname be believed? Isn't he a traitor? You said it yourself, right? I give them purpose. Naruto shrugged, but learn this, girl. Just as we firmly follow our own beliefs, there are more than two sides to everything in this world. Rather than just following or listening to others, strive to follow and listen to yourself. Discover the answer yourself and you will always be right in that, in your own aspect. Naruto Sayori appeared with a smile. It's ready. The blonde gave a small frown. Damn, I really don't want to do that though, whatever. I guess that's my purpose as well. He turned to the nobles. It'll be easier if you just think of Kaname as a traitor and evil. However, if you don't want to be spoiled, find reasons in your own beliefs yourself. That's why you go to school, right? Is it alright, Naruto? To not help with the fighting? My order was to keep researching and find the cure. Naruto sat back, eyeing his sample of blood in a test tube. We can help later. For the major one when purebloods are lying, but this goose chase that Kaname thinks he has Yuki on, we'll let them play around for now. Sayori giggled, though it'll hurt Yuki a bit. It's relaxing to know that this all is pretend. It is. Naruto smiled. It always is. I guess I'm glad that you read my memories while drinking my blood though. I hate misunderstandings and lies. Sayori agreed. I'm lucky to have you, Naruto. I would have been left in ignorance. They do say that ignorance is bliss. She shook her head, firmly stating, ignorance is illusion. You've changed into a vampire, Sayori. She wrapped her arms around his neck, her head falling forth so her lips whispered into Naruto's ears, Don't you love vampires, proud traditionalist? Yes, I do. They might have kissed if it wasn't for the room they were in. I really hate this job. Does anyone even care if there's a cure? Zero does. But only him. All of us proudly want to stay. I wouldn't say that, Naruto, just as there's more than two sides to everything, there's more than one person for each of those sides, right? And then came the time of battle. Ruka gazed at the ex-human. Should you really be here? Sayori stood proudly. Yes. I will never forgive myself if I didn't join such a major battle with Yuki and Naruto in it. Naruto? Where's Naruto? A large nine-tailed fox appeared from behind the walls, scaring the freak out of the others. Reima's eyes glinted. I got to see that transformation more closely after. Shiki's sweat dropped, though a bit happy that Naruto was already taken. Damn, he would have a lot to worry about if he wasn't. Naruto growled to the servants, baring fangs before charging towards the crowds. Steel claws slashed through enemies just as canines crushed people all at once. His 9 tails lashing out everywhere once he reached the middle of the lines of vampire servants. The Toma heir shouted. Damn it! It's a guardian! We need more people! And all the purebloods began moving backwards to scout for more. Ruka sighing, I wonder if this is counterproductive or not. Naruto just encouraged them to take more with his powers. Yagiri too sweat dropped before shrugging. They were going to get more recruits later anyways. Sayori sighed as her fiancé went over the top with attacks. But she concentrated and pulled out the moisture from the air, creating a water dragon. With hand gestures, she controlled it to her bidding, Kane approving. Water ka. Nice. Ichigo slashed through the enemy pouting, no! In manga, fire and water are supposed to be fighting against each other. You can't just agree with her ability, Kane! Shiki and Rima bopped the idiot on the head, not the time. And then Ichigo laughed, what are you talking about? It doesn't feel like a war, we're all fighting together. They blinked before realizing it with smiles on their faces. Naruto finally shifted to a werewolf, swiftly taking out the masses. He barked with laughter. Human and vampire. Together we unite not for a common enemy, but rather for a common goal. It's completely unlike manga, Ichigo. Ichigo smiled. Even so, I'm so glad that we're all accomplices now. Rima couldn't help but point out, isn't it only you who always go to the other side? Wah, really? I feel so evil. They all sweat dropped as they fought more intensely as one against the servants. Yuki appeared a while, but left with zero. Kane asked, is it alright if you don't visit your brother one last time? We already said our byes. Yuki-chan and Zero-kun need to hear his words more. And then, soon, the weapons were born once more. Are you not going to see him? I'm not that sentimental. We're men. We paid our dues. It's time to move on for the future he wanted. Sayori hugged the blonde who stared at the sky while the others were looking at Kanami's body locked up in a beautiful ice coffin. The research, what would the world be like if there's no such things as vampires? Such a world will be beautifully peaceful. Naruto began before smirking, but spoiling peace is better than peace that spoils. It'll be too boring, don't you think? Sayori smiled. Let's live together, do everything together, see together from now on, Naruto. Yes, let's. And they kissed. The number of purebloods decreased, but they've managed to preserve their influence. But the power of the hunters also increased after gaining new and powerful weapons, so both parties are once again struggling for supremacy, and will coexist for a long time. And while Naruto helped preserve the balance by supporting the vampiric side of the struggle, he also discovered a way to convert vampires back to human if they ever chose to. Just as he thought not many did. Not even Zero, who told him to create it. But still, there was a way back. Just as there was a way in. As everyone kept their thoughts in their hearts, months and years passed. Becoming a shadow-like existence, protecting another trivial day, the era changes and another 1,000 years have passed. Today's the day when the furnace's fire will be put out. So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comment section how was the story, And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Bye bye.